What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another day, another show, another Thursday edition of 30NSG here in late August. If you're watching this, it's August 22nd, I believe. Yeah, it's the 22nd of August if you're watching this. We do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. We cover news stories, conferences, gameplay, entertainment news. We try to get you through a couple of hours of your day. We appreciate you coming here, hanging out with us. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We're trying to get to 3,000 subscribers. That's our milestone, to our next milestone, but we're trying to get to that 3,000. So if you're not a subscriber and you like watching our stuff, you like coming to the live show, hit that subscribe. I'm consistent. I'm here every single day from 10 o'clock in the morning to at least noon. So hit that, any of those things, and hit that bell so you know when I go live. On today's show, we're going to be covering Gamescom Day 2 from Xbox. It's already been going on for about 45 minutes or so. So we'll watch Outlaws, we'll watch World of Warcraft, we'll watch other things that they're doing today from Gamescom from Germany. We're also going to cover a story of Concord. Was in development for 8 years. Dev ready to push it out for years to come. So this game has been out for 8 years. We're going to read a little article about that. I'll give you my thoughts on that. And then I'm going to show you some, because there's a lot of talk going on right now that it's been going on for months and months and years, that Game Pass and Xbox is done. They're closing shop, right? And Game Pass is never going to be successful. And I kind of want to show you, since everyone compares Game Pass to Netflix and what Netflix has done over the years, we're going to cover, or I'm going to show you some stats of Netflix and Game Pass and kind of give you my thoughts and opinions on where I think it's going to be going in the future, and that they're fine. But like I said, if you like what we do here, hit that like button, hit that subscribe. And yeah, so let's get to it. Oh, we're going to go in detail Star Wars Outlaws as well. We're going to cover all of Gamescom that's on Xbox today, but we're really going to watch and talk about the Star Wars Outlaws. It's coming out on Monday, early access, and then it comes out later next week for everybody else. It's on day 1. So, all right. So, what's going on, chat? What's going on, Eclipse? What's going on, PS5? Come on, Roic, Jason, Hemi, Stealth, Browded. It ain't gonna last 8 months. What's not gonna last 8 months? You talking about Concord? What you're talking about? Oh, and if you're watching this, I'm putting these up on a podcast format as well. So if you watch it on YouTube, fantastic. If you want to watch it or listen to it, you can go to Spotify. The Daily Grind. Last week's episodes are up there right now. This week's episodes are going to slowly get put up there throughout the weekend. So if you don't want to, you can't listen to it in the car because maybe you're not a YouTube Premium member. You can't listen to audio. You don't want to have it just your phone because it's dying. I gave you the format so you can listen to the past broadcasts in just audio format as well. Anywhere a podcast is listened to, so you can go check out those for the past broadcasts as well. All right. I think it starts at midnight. Stealth, I'm not sure though. I'm not sure. So let's start off with the first story, right? I want to talk about Concord, right? Again, I'm not shitting on Concord as it's a bad game in any way, shape, or form. I haven't played it. I watched people play it. It looks like any other hero shooter, a little bit more complex, whatever they're building within that system there. But the game itself is going to struggle, okay, because of the $40 price tag, right? And a lot of people want to talk about that, people are not giving it a chance or a shot, and they would rather pay $40. And I get it. I would also rather pay $40 for a game where there's no battle passes and season passes and stuff like that in the game, and everything in the game is in the game for the price. But in the landscape of hero shooters, of the landscape of BRs and extractions and just free-to-play games in general, to put a game out like this in a landscape of just free-to-play games where you could do the exact same thing, basically, what you're doing in this game, generic characters, in other games with generic characters, the price point is going to hurt this game, right? And I think this is going to do the opposite of what Helldivers did for PlayStation, right? Now, Helldivers for PlayStation is phenomenal. It's 12 million units, and they shot themselves in the foot with the PSN network type of thing, but they did really well with Helldivers on PC and also PlayStation. Concord right now, they're hiding the numbers. Okay, they're hiding the numbers of actual where did I put it? In general game talk, I think, this morning. We talked about it last night. Okay, they're literally hiding the numbers. Actually, let me actually go to, you can see it better. We'll go to Steam. Now, I get it. Concord doesn't come out until the 23rd. But it's out right now in early access. People that pre-ordered the game, that paid the $40 or $80 or whatever it is. Okay. Concord Steam numbers. Okay, we have the beta numbers up there, but we do not have the actual numbers right now, which is very strange. Now, everyone's like, oh, it's not out yet. You could go to another game that's not out yet, and their numbers are here. But for some reason, this number has not shown up yet. Now, obviously, these are all estimations and guesstimations or whatever by an algorithm saying how. But right now, it's saying that the all-time peak last month was estimated, Twitch stats, 53 views. Okay, right now, 53 views. 53 views on Twitch. These are people that didn't even buy the game. They're just watching the game on Twitch. Okay, 24-hour peak is 2,700, and then all-time peak was 113,000 last month. Now, the actual owner's estimation is anywhere between 780, okay, to 6,500, okay? Now, the game has been in development for 8 years, and I'm mind-boggled by this because these are ex-developers of Bungie, a lot of people that came from Bungie, and that's only been out for 10 years. So it's like, as soon as the game came out, they left during Destiny 1 time to go make their own studio to make this. So it says Concord was in development for 8 years. Devs, quote, ready to push it for years to come. Okay, so let's, this comes from mpfirst.com. Because have you played Concord beta and when it was available last month? While the game might be coming out out of nowhere, the multiplayer hero shooter has quite long development time, as one of the devs confirmed, and Concord has been in development for 8 years. Okay, it was revealed by Concord lead character design dev John Waskowski, butchered it. Okay, over the on Twitter, posting under and handle Shark Eats Man. Okay, he says, quote, today Firewalk Studios launched Plague Concord. The game has been in development for around 8 years and has been there for almost 5 of them. We don't get a lot of launch days in our careers, so today is a special day and tons of reasons to obligate me from some good vibes today, right? And this is amazing, right? Because I talk about all the time games used to take 3 to 5 years to make. We're talking games like God of War. We're talking about like really adventure-heavy games. PvP games usually don't take this long. Now, again, I don't know the size of the studio. Maybe Chad can answer how big the studio is or where they started. But if it took 8 years, in the middle of the development cycle, we all went into hiding for 2 years, okay? Which is detrimental to a lot of studios, okay? And I'll bring this around to Borderlands 4 making the trailer announcement that it's coming out next year, and I'm a little weary of that as well. But this game's been in development 8 years. You know what other game that was in development for 8 years that didn't do very good when it came out, but then pivoted to what it is today? And it's one of the biggest blockbuster games out there, most popular games in the existence. Fortnite. Fortnite Save the World took 7 to 8 years to develop, okay? It came out and literally did a nosedive, okay? And then within 3 months of Fortnite Save the World, not what we know Fortnite as of today, Fortnite Save the World came out and miraculously bombed like the Borderlands movie that came out just 3 weeks ago, okay? And it was absolutely obliterated from the planet because nobody was playing it. And Epic had to pivot real fast. And then they took, because PUBG was using the Unreal Engine, okay, they took what PUBG was doing with the BR and then created a BR within Fortnite. And they pivoted, and the rest is history. They made billions of dollars. They've have every single franchise in there, okay? Now, Concord's coming out. It took them 8 years to develop, okay? It's got to be gut-wrenching for a studio to put a game out after 8 years of development, and it's not getting the buzz, all right? It's not getting the buzz. It's not getting the buzz. It's not getting the push. A lot of people that are playing it are enjoying it, but it's not going to be a massive success as of right now. At least a lot of people didn't pre-order it, A lot of people didn't get the early access to these other days. Okay, not a lot of people are watching it on Twitch. Okay, so what's going to happen to this game? Okay, so it says Concord has much humanity and depth to it, or humanity and depth to it. It really hoped that people give it a shot. Insanely proud of the game, and they strap it and ready to push it out for years to come. But here's the problem. When they started making this game, the $40 price tag probably made sense because the industry wasn't what it was back then when they started making the game. But now the industry has completely changed. It's adapted. It's moved. It's moved on from the $40, $50, $60 PvP game like Overwatch was or Battleborn was, right? They've now changed and it's adapted to free-to-play, cosmetics, battle passes, season passes. And this is why I look at this game and say it's not going to make it because it's just not ready for this gaming industry. Okay, and this is why I said within a month or two, they will change what this game is right now, and they will convert it, sort of like what Wayfinder just did as an MMO, and then turn it into a single-player game. They had to pivot hard, and now Wayfinder is actually getting a home. Concord needs to switch and change up what their business plan is. They were going in as a $40 with story content coming week after week or whatever, but I think they have to pivot more than that. I think they have to make it free-to-play, and unfortunately, they're going to have to make skins. Okay, they're going to have to make skins, and they're going to have to go against their what they wanted to do originally, which is, you know, no battle pass or whatever. I think they're going to have to put one in because if they want to get traction, they're going to have to change. Otherwise, this game is just going to come and gone, and 8 years of development is going to be completely gone. Now, we always say make a game, sell a game, and they've made the game they wanted to make, but I think they've priced it in the wrong price point in this realm of free-to-play games with PvP. It says, it's honestly insane to me how long the game takes to make. It says, while always it's easy and popular to dunk on games, let's also appreciate the people behind them, and a ton of time and sweat has been put into the game, each one, not just AAA titles. In terms of big name game releases, much of the attention has been going to Game Science's Black Myth Wukong, as it smashes one record after another. Now, Firewalker Studios' Concord is now out in early access with a full release to set on August 23rd, and they're hoping to it makes it waves as well when it releases. Now, are you picking up Concord? Do you think it has a chance to carving its own audience? Leave a comment below. Look, I think it will have an audience, but I don't think the audience is going to have enough push, and PlayStation, Sony, Firewalker are going to have to make some changes to get more of the player base in there and make it stand out amongst the rest. Moving from what Concord is and what we're talking about, how different games have pivoted over the course of the years. Just 2 days ago, Borderlands 4 made an announcement, right? And we're talking about how games take longer time. When Borderlands showed their trailer, and we kind of broke it down the other day, like, it said 2025. And I don't believe that for 1 second. Why? Even if the game was worked on for 5 years, as they say, 4 to 5 years, if it started right after Borderlands 3. Borderlands 3 launched in 2019, but then we all went inside for 2 years, and a lot of studios got postponed, worked from home, couldn't get the work done. They got postponed, and every game, we know this by fact, everything in the video game industry got pushed by 18 to 24 months. So now you're rushing Borderlands 4 out the door to get in 2025. Is it going to land, and is it going to be complete? Is it going to be a games of service, or is it going to be like the old Borderlands, right? Is it going to be a live service game? Is it going to be an MMO? Is it going to be this universe thing? Whatever it is, it's not going to be done if it comes out in 2025. These are just my thoughts, my opinions, okay? But if a game like Concord, which is just a PvP standing game, took 8 years to make, if Fortnite, which was a PvE tower defense game, took 8 years to make, and yet Borderlands, which we know what it is. We played 1, 2, pre-sequel, Borderlands 3, Wonderland. We saw all the stuff that they've created. I can't imagine that Borderlands 4, in their own words, going to be the biggest thing they've ever created, has been made in less time than most of these other games have. I just don't buy it. But I could be wrong. These are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments section down below. What do you think of Concord? Do you think it's going to come out and it's going to be very successful? Do you think they pivot like a Fortnite, like a Wayfinder, where they try to get that foothold of certain gamers in their market? Do they go free to play? Let me know in the comments section. Let me know in live chat. And if you like what I do here, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And if you'd like to go above and beyond that, check out our other videos. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching. All right, chat. Let me see what you guys are saying here. Ron Slusher says, I bought Concord and Suicide Squad and enjoyed both. That's not the point, though, Ron. You're allowed to buy a game, enjoy the game. We're talking business-wise. We're talking industry-wide, right? Again, I've bought plenty of games that have bombed and I've enjoyed. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about, will Concord make it as a money-making thing for Sony, for the studio Firewalker, right? It has nothing to do with if you bought it and you like it. Is it going to make a dent? Will it find a niche inside the market in a realm where everything's free to play in that market and they're coming out with a $40 game? What's going on, Roadkill? What's going on, Water Bear? Water Bear says something. He says, I would test it out if it were free. And that is the problem. The problem is people, they're like, I would give it a shot, but it's $40 and I don't want to make that because you can't get your money back. There's no refunds on PlayStation. Okay? Right? I'm not talking about the models of the characters. I'm not talking about anything. I'm literally just talking about the price point in the landscape of the video game industry with free to play, and they're coming in at $40. Robert Jones says, you talking about my baby, Concord? Estelle says, that's because the numbers are in the negative. Yeah, it's a little weird. It's sort of like when a movie comes out and the reviews don't pop up or the score doesn't change, right? A little weird. I can't believe that this game took 8 years to develop. Ron Slusher says, it could be worse. It could be Crossfire X, Bleeding Edge, or Redfall. Right. It could still be those things, Ron. It could still be those things. Jason Marshall says, 8 years, yeah, they ain't getting their money back. Water Bear says, there's no way it took 8 years to create this AI-generated game. I'm amazed. I'm amazed. You know what else took 8 years? Anthem. You know what else took 8 years? Like I said earlier, Fortnite. You know what else took 8 years? Hello Games, No Man's Sky. I think it was like 7 years, but Krebsy says, is it right to say that the game being in development for 8 years is a sign that it was in development hell? Not specifically, right? I mean, it could have been, right? It could be. It could have been in development hell. Or it could have been a small studio and it was just not enough people working on the game and it took them time over the ambitious, right? I don't want to say it was in development hell. It could have been fine for them. Ron Slusher says, Sea of Thieves launched bad along with Warframe and No Man's Sky. Yep. Live service games, right? This is a live service game. You're also talking about the outliers. Let's name all the other live service games that came out that didn't make it. Right? And again, the landscape has changed from full price games to medium price games to free to play games. Chris says the studio was established 6 years ago. They're inflating their time by counting time before the full production. It could have been 2 people creating the basic concept for 2 years. Sure, but from one of the developers, he says they've been working on it for 8 years and he's been there for 5, right? So that's the reality that we know. Ron says, live service games usually evolve. Gotta give it a chance. Trust Uncle Ron. So, okay, well, let's go from the business side, not the gamer side, Ron. So do you think that Epic should have not pivoted to BR and they should have just tried to push and shove the save the world down your throat, doing nothing else? Or do you think that they made a better decision by pivoting, changing the game up, making it free to play BR instead of charging you $40 to $60 for a tower defense game? You think Wayfinder should have waited and kept the MMO for a year before they changed it to what they did with Wayfinder? Right? The industry is going to change and evolve with or without you. Crowded says, even if Concord's lasted a year, I wouldn't buy it because the player base will be so low, making it going to be garbage, and I'm putting myself through that. That's another good point, Crowded, right? Even if you wait now, right? People are waiting, so it doesn't do successful in the beginning. Then Season 2 comes around, and all of a sudden, people start coming back, but it's still not a lot of people. It's on sale. Maybe it is free to... Well, actually, let's not say free to play, because free to play will bring a margin of people in, okay? But if it's still at $40 or now it's $20, by the time you get that game, is the player base going to be there? And is it going to be fun enough to keep it going? Or you're like, I'm just going to let it go. What's going on, Artemis? That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying, Ron. I'm not looking for Fortnite numbers. You're moving the fucking goalpost. You're moving the goalpost all over the place. Okay? It's not about the player base. It's about the $40 price tag in a free-to-play market. Jason says the marketing has already overcrowded with a hero shooter, and not to mention the characters look so unappealing. That, I think, is opinion, Jason, right? If you like the characters or don't like the characters, and I get that, right? That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the $40, 8 years, 6 years, whatever the fucking thing it took to make it, putting a $40 game in a market with free-to-play games. Waterbear says 30. Would one any make a dent? What does that mean? That's going to answer your question. Would one any make a dent? Water says, bro, this game is dead in the water. Worse than Skull and Bones. You're going against free-to-play games. Are doing that, and you're doing 10 times better, right? Even if Concord is a better game, you have a $40 wall to get people into your game. Ron says, Concord launching the same day as Black Myth Wukong was also a bonehead move. The game should have launched at the last state play a month ago. Well, that's another conversation we could have, right? Technically, it's not launched yet because it launches tomorrow, so it gave 3 days. But you're right, too close to a game that was really hyped up. One's a single player game, one's a multiplayer game, but still, I have money in my hand. What am I spending? Am I spending $60, $70 on Wukong, or am I spending $40 on Concord? Also, Robert Jones says, I don't see why it would be a PlayStation 5 PC only. Why not throw it on Xbox and maximum exposure? I would assume that PlayStation doesn't want Xbox to have any of their games. Yeah, you know what I mean? They weren't happy when MLB The Show went there. But that was because of MLB. Otherwise, I don't think it would be on there. Chris says, I'm excited for Concord. Using early access numbers to skew things. That concept is stupid for PlayStation. Should be ashamed following Microsoft's tactics. Too much emphasis on the Steam numbers. PlayStation is mainly console player. Sure, Chris. But the reason I bring up the Steam chart is because usually, right, it works both ways, right? When a game does well and people look at the Steam charts and Helldivers 2 was skyrocketing and they say the numbers that we sold this many things, it also works the other way. Where if a game comes out and it doesn't do good and they don't scream from the hilltops about their numbers, you got to point that out as well. Artemis says, speaking of Sea of Thieves, is selling on PlayStation for $40 as an 8-year-old game. I think it's a position pile. I think it's a poison pile of Sony thinking that they can charge $40 for their live service game as well. Yeah, but it's not even just a live service game. It's a hero shooter. It's a hero shooter with other hero shooters PvP in there. Sea of Thieves is not just a PvP game. It's a story-based game. It's an open world sandbox, right? This is an arena hero shooter. Krebsy says, I think this game would have been received better if it released in 2020, 2021, a.k.a. launch of generation. Yeah, I agree. Because the foothold of free-to-play games wasn't caught on yet. I agree with that, Jason. I agree with that. Looks matter, and I believe it affects overall appeal. Absolutely. But I think a lot of people look at it and go, $40. What is it? They look at it, they go, $40. Okay. First you look at the game and go, okay, let's just say someone looks at it and says, I think it looks good. I think the characters look fine. Then they're like, oh, it's $40? I'll go play Overwatch 2. I'll go play X Defiant. I'll go play the finals. I'll go play something else, right? There's nothing that says I have to play Concord because there's that fee in front of it. Browick says Concord won't last with the entry fee. There's no way I would spend that if I can simply download a free one that looks and plays better. My point. There you go. Who was it? Jaffe the other day when he was watching this thing talked about it. That take all the IPs. You guys brought it up, right? That he said this on I think Lono's stream the other day. Take it and put like IPs of PlayStation on there. Make it like a PlayStation hero shooter, so you have all the different IPs from PlayStation come into that world. That might be more appealing. Oh, I know what you're talking about, Crowded. Yeah, I knew that. I knew what you're talking about. Is matchmaking down the road would be horrible, right? Because the longer you wait for a PvP game that's not popular, the less it becomes popular, right? Populated, and you're just sitting there waiting and waiting, and you're in a small group. It's the same people that you're fighting against because there's no one else playing the game. Eclipse says, but Concord will be lucky if it hits those numbers. Do you think it's going to hit? X Defiant and final numbers, I doubt if people didn't want when it was tried, when it was free to play. Right. It was open beta and nobody cared. Nobody cared. Robert Jones says the mindset works for single player games, but it's dumb for multiplayer live service. You want everyone. I agree. Oh, I agree, Robert. We know that I think all games should be on all platforms, and you, the customer, get to choose where you want to play it. Ron says I've had a matchmaking issue in Concord, but maybe that's because early access. It continues into the weekend. It's a panic button. I have a question: is Concord crossplay across PC and PlayStation? Is it crossplay between PlayStation and PC? What's going on, Altern? Oh, Kylo, no. MLB had 100% to do with it, but Sony still had to put it on there. Okay? Still had to put it on there. But MLB's like, we want to make more money. You better put it on the other platforms. Chris says that $40 gatekeep is a good thing to me. I hate free-to-play shooters, and there are grindy unlocks for the Battle Pass and overpaid skins. Helldivers 2 was an exception. It's not even HD1 had the same hype for PC. Absolutely. I agree with you that games should be $40. I want to make a game, sell a game. I'll buy your game if I like your game, right? If we're putting it on the same playing field as everything else, Chris, where X Defiant, Overwatch 2, Marvel Rivals, they all came out. They're all $40. They're all hero shooters. They all have the same thing. I agree with you 100%. But that's not the landscape, and that is the crux of the argument and the conversation. They're putting a $40 gatekeeping game in a world of all these other free-to-play hero shooters that do the similar things to it, right? The characters look better, as Jason says. They're not appealing to a lot of people, okay? When you look at the Steam chart numbers again that are not being shown, okay? They're not being shown. Still in early access, cool, whatever. Okay, but this doesn't bode well. Like right now, there's 50. Here, let me refresh it. Maybe it's gone. There's 70 viewers right now on Twitch interested in watching this game. That's not good. It's not good. FNT says, we have already seen the path of these live service games and very far between a great game to flop or Destiny 2, a really old game. Artemis says Concord should follow the first Descendant and Destiny model. It needs a story mission game so you can relate it to. They have story missions. You have to wait to play the game, and then every week they're adding story to it. But you don't get to progress it. It progresses every week. Yes, it is crossplay. Okay. Luke Stevens. Okay. Luke Stevens said it couldn't even get the game to launch on PC, and PlayStation 5 was also giving him problems. That's crazy. That's not good. Chris says crossplay has turned off by default by Firewalker. Made the post saying that we hear you PC players. We made a patch that turns crossplay on by default, and now PS seems to be where the majority of the players are. Yeah, that's what we're talking about, Altern. We're talking about 8 years of development and how they're coming into a market of $40 to compete against other free-to-play games. That's the conversation. And during my early talking point, I was bringing up other games that took 8 years of development and how they also bombed. Fortnite bombed when it came out. The Save the World bombed. And they had to pivot within 3 months. A lot of people don't talk about this, but Fortnite, the way they pivoted, okay, is different than what No Man's Sky did. Right? No Man's Sky has a great story of a comeback story of it started bad and turned into a great game. Fortnite came out completely obliterated, and within 3 months, they pivoted and changed the whole lifestyle of what that game was, and now it's one of the most popular games on the planet Earth. Right? The landscape has completely changed from 2016, 2017 to 2024, and what the landscape of free-to-play games and hero shooters and all this other stuff. Like, imagine if all these free-to-play games all came out when Overwatch and Battleborn and all came out. They all launched back then. Who would come out on top? That would be a fair fight because they were charging money. But now, they're all free-to-play. Right? Fortnite pivoted and killed Paragon in the process. Because the money speaks volumes. It'll be very interesting to see what Sony does if they pivot with Concord and drop the price to make it free to play. If they put it on PlayStation Plus so everyone gets it. Maybe they don't drop the price, but they do put it on PlayStation Plus. So if people want to buy it, they buy it. But otherwise, they'll get the service. It'll be interesting if Firewalker puts more microtransactions and stuff in there, because based on what we're seeing right now of the public on how they're liking the game or not liking the game, it's going to have to pivot if they want to survive. And again, I'm not criticizing the game on the gameplay, on the characters' looks or models. I'm only criticizing the game of the $40 in a landscape of free-to-play. Yeah, it's basically a hero shooter. It is, yeah. All right. We're going to move on over to Star Wars Outlaws. They have a video that they posted, or it's live right now, but I paused it because I found it and I paused it. We're going to watch Star Wars Outlaws. Game comes out Monday for everyone that's pre-ordered, bought the higher package, or gets Ubisoft Plus. So we're going to watch this, learn more about what the game is. Maybe we'll see better stuff. Maybe we'll see more stuff. Maybe it'll sell you on it. Maybe it won't sell you on it. Maybe it's a snooze fest for you. But we're going to watch this. If you guys like what we do this Monday through Thursday. We cover news stories, have conversations with live stream. We talk about entertainment news and whatnot to get you past a couple hours of your day. If you like it, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. And if you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. All right, so let's move on over and make sure. All right.
But first, it's time to throw it to the latest from Star Wars Outlaws.
Kay Vess, the underworld's favorite new scoundrel. This is your one shot. A safe filled with 157 million credits. And I can get you inside.
Get in. How about getting out? This job, it's a death wish.
Your lives are over. Your family, friends, gone. There's nowhere in the galaxy you can hide.
You want to live? Get in with the underworld's most dangerous syndicates. And pull off the greatest heist the Outer Rim has ever seen.
I'm in.
I have a quick question. Does anybody know, do you guys play, anybody have Ubisoft Plus? Does anybody have Ubisoft Plus in chat? If so, can you play Ubisoft Plus? Like, if I play it, can I play it on PC? And then if I want to, can I play it on console? Or is it just one or the other?
I am so in, because that rowdy trailer belongs to Star Wars Outlaws. And joining me now to talk through this very epic space adventure, please welcome creative director Julian Garrity. How you doing?
Hello, excited.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, that's a hell of a trailer to cut. I mean,
Do you know what? That's the first time I've seen it.
No.
And it's
What do you think?
it's awesome.
Oh,
it's,
yeah.
The music gets me every time. I love the characters.
Yeah.
The locations look great. So, from a point of view of somebody who's just discovering it, I'm very happy.
Yeah, the trailer looked hype.
Good. I mean, can you set the scene for us a
Come on,
little
Pete.
bit? Because although that did give us a little look at what we're going to be getting up to,
Yeah.
what is Star Wars Outlaws exactly?
What is Star Wars Outlaws?
Cool, Stealth, thank you.
So, it's the first ever open world Star Wars
No, it's not the first open world Star Wars. Add a couple of words there.
RPG
Okay.
game that features scoundrels, outlaws.
Yeah, I love it. It's the first open world Star Wars game that features RPG scoundrels. Yeah, scoundrels.
My favorite archetype of Star Wars. So it's really giving you the keys to be part of the underworld, part of the galaxy of Star Wars on your terms.
I love the sound of it, because you're right. This is a brand new experience for a lot of players. We've had tales about Force Wielders before, but the scoundrel is so important to Star.
Okay, just looking at this footage on my screen, I don't know if you guys can tell on because of YouTube, but on my screen, this looks 1,000 times better than anything we've seen from IGN or anything like that.
Star Wars in general, and now to finally play as one is incredible. And we've seen a bit of Toshara, we've seen a bit of Tatooine. You've picked some great locations for the game, but now we're going to get a little look at the planet Akiva, right?
Yes, absolutely. So this is the first time we really dive into Akiva. And Akiva
Do you have a bad feeling about this, Waterbear?
was only ever featured in a series of books called Aftermath. So we're the first to take those words and to transform them into something lush, beautiful, complex.
Okay, so as she's running, there is a little bit of like blurriness around the edges and stuff like that, but it still looks much better.
Yeah.
And complex not just in scenery, but also in the politics, the dynamics that are happening. You'll be able to see while Kay runs around the streets of
It still
Mira,
looks
the
muddy.
main city.
It's very beautiful.
It's
It
gorgeous.
does look good. It
but
does
it's
look
also
good.
corrupt.
But at the
And
same
you'll see
time,
that
there's this like
stormtroopers, there's an Empire presence,
filter
and the
on it.
pikes and the Hutts are also fighting it out. So Empires and Syndicate presence within the city, within the planet as a whole.
Well, we'll get onto the syndicates in just a sec, but as I've heard from you before, speaking about the game, one thing your team's really proud of in particular with Star Wars Outlaws is those hubs of where Kay can get her intel, and that all starts with cantinas.
They've done a really good job. They've done a really good job of just... I love fucking Massive. I do. I love how they decorate their levels. I love how they put all the stuff and how lived in their worlds that they create.
I've heard from you before speaking about the game. One thing your team's really proud of in particular with Star Wars Outlaws is those hubs of where Kay can get her intel, and that all starts with cantinas. Now, the cantinas that we have on Akiva, very different to the ones we have on Tatooine. Tell me a bit about how you go in designing these to make sure they feel like Star Wars cantinas, but also reflective of the planet or moon that they're on.
Absolutely. So the cantina is this flashpoint of everything that makes Star Wars.
I have a question. Did they push the camera in? Did they push the camera in where it's much closer on her? Did earlier footage have her a little farther back?
Was special. And the approach, the design philosophy that we worked with Lucasfilm Games really allowed us to understand the simplicity, relatability, and yet difference that all of these locations can take. So, for example, in the real world, you have jazz bars, you have Korean barbecues, you have all of these different types of location. So each one of these had to
I'm gonna have to go back and look at old footage.
Here in Akiva, it's a tropical tiki bar. So that's the vibe that we were going for there.
Sounds great, and it's obviously a great place to meet up with these crime syndicates and get some jobs. How do they make an impact on the game?
So, of course, this is a game about the underworld of Star Wars. And there are 4 main syndicates. There's maybe more, but there are 4 main syndicates that you'll be dealing with. The Pikes, the Hutts, the Ashiga clan that we created with Lucasfilm Games, and the Crimson Dawn. And you, as an outlaw, are going to be able to work on your reputation with each one of those. Doing jobs for some, betraying others, and building your profile accordingly. So very, very involved in your personal story throughout this adventure.
That's incredible. So they will form a general structure that Kay can live out this story in, but how much agency do players have to maybe go off the beaten path, maybe take Kay down some slightly darker routes, or playing the good guy a bit?
100% up to you. So for example, here, this is the first time we ever show this quest. And it's a quest where you've landed in Akiva, your main focus is to go pick up a droid smith. A droid smith that you need to pull off this heist that we've been talking about. 157.
Okay, hold on a second. The Crimson Rain tunic gain a large amount of adrenaline when performing stealth takedown. So each of the pieces of gear has different benefits on it. So changing costumes actually gives you a benefit of different things.
In credits, that's a lot of
not
credits.
Bad, yeah.
And to do that, you're going to have to upgrade your equipment, which we're doing there. We're making sure that your loadout is the right one. You jump on your speeder, and you'll be able to be distracted by curiosity on the way. So you're speeding off, you're on the way. It's quite a journey, and on that journey, you're going to be able to do jumps, tricks.
Nice.
The bike is based on...
Wow, I can do jumps and tricks.
A motocross, so it feels visceral as well.
Right.
And you'll be able to come across different things. Like here we have an Imperial shuttle landing. Do you go and mingle with those people? Do you mess around with the
The answer is yes. The answer is yes. You go over there and shoot them in the face and interact with them and see what you can do.
At this point, or do you save it for a little bit later on? Because guess what? That droid smith, he's going to be located in an Imperial compound.
Oh, just our luck. Just our luck. Well, how well equipped can the player be to tackle... That's not a compound, that's a fortress. I mean, what does Kay bring to the table to be able to deal with these kind of scenarios?
Well, she's got to have the equipment to be able to do that. And that starts off with things like your binoculars to be able to scope the different opportunities. There's not just one way in, there are several ways in. The surest way to meet a very certain end is to go and...
Shut up, Stealth. Do they already have it? Do they already have a Star Wars land speeder in Starfield?
Guns blazing, because this is the Empire we're talking about. So it's a massive force in front of you. We're going to go stealth.
Okay.
And binoculars, one thing. Blaster, another. Nix. incredibly important. Let's just have a taste of how Kay uses Nyx.
Okay.
She's going to
Would that take him a day?
be sending me across and attacking, clawing the hell out of that stormtrooper.
I feel bad for the guy.
You shouldn't. He's there.
I literally said it last night or yesterday. I was like, oh, I can't wait till they put the land speeder in. And Sarge's like, yeah, it'll happen real fast. Apparently faster than we thought.
He's built for this.
Okay, true.
You take out the second stormtrooper, and now you have to hack through that laser barrier to be able to get into the gooey good stuff in the middle of that fortress.
So there's quite a few different ways of engaging in a mission like this.
Absolutely.
What would happen if we did go in all blasters blazing? Would it be a big problem for us on this particular mission?
This is an Empire compound, so that's going to be a real problem.
Okay. I'll take your advice on
One of the conditions is that you don't
Dolphin,
set off
you tried
the
to
alarm,
explain this
'cause
to
if
me
the
a couple
alarm
weeks
sets
ago.
off,
I
you're
still
gonna
don't
shut
understand
down
what the
that
fuck we're
compound.
doing here.
Fair enough.
You may revisit the compound later on to be able to steal more stuff and to really find all of the treasures. And there, you can do it the way you want. But ATSTs guarding the door, you've got a blaster and Nyx. Do you really want to put yourself in that sort of situation?
I could take my chances, honestly. Earlier on, though, we did see with Kay's using her blaster now, but before that, she was working on it a bit on her workbench.
Yes.
Inside the Trailblazer.
That-
What is that all about? Is that like upgrading? Or?
Yeah, that's absolutely upgrading your weapon.
Okay.
Because we want this to be about a resourceful underdog.
Well, you know that's going to happen, Altern, right? I mean, Ubisoft makes stealth-based games. I want to know, though, if stealth gets ruined just in the room, or if you get caught, everyone in the fucking base gets notified.
And a resourceful underdog, they have one main tool that you can upgrade. You can have a charge blast, which is like a rocket launcher.
What?
And, plasma, which is the regular blaster,
Right.
with speed mode to it, so it feels like an automatic weapon. And you have one function, which is the shock function, which we'll
Is that
see
true?
a little bit later.
That PlayStation or Ubisoft Plus is not on PlayStation? You sure?
Nice. I love the way that she even moves around. Like you mentioned before, Scoundrel Archetype's one of your favorites, but the movements of Kay, the mannerisms, the swagger really communicates that so well.
It's something that we worked on Division 2.
Right.
And those are trained military agents,
Yeah.
civilian agents, but with military training. Here we wanted a resourceful underdog, so you have to have that different movement. But all of those mannerisms and that sort of swagger that you see there, that's Umberly who brought that to the character, and she'll be
What the hell are they doing in this base? Look at the
swagger
floor real
that you
fast.
see there.
Why is there so many scratches on the floor? What are they shining the floor with machetes? What are they doing?
That's Umberly who brought that to the character, and she'll be able to tell you all about it.
Okay, great. I'll make sure to. One thing that I want to point out as well, we did just talk about the blaster a little bit. We're getting to see some of the action over there. Nice shot, by the way. The sound of it, too. I mean, in Star Wars, there are so many sounds that are iconic. Players, when we listen to them, it makes the hair in our
If you
arms stand
close
up.
your eyes and think TIE Fighter,
Yeah, TIE.
Only Ubisoft Classics are on PlayStation 5. The Plus that brings new games, at least for right now, is not available. So wait a minute. You're saying right now, Star Wars Outlaws comes out on Monday, and nobody on PlayStation 5 can get it early? On Ubisoft Plus, they have to buy the game. They have to buy the $120 to $140 version? Bro, how come no one's talking about that?
Fighter, I'm thinking like the seismic charge.
Yep.
Oh man, yeah. But Kay's blaster also has a really satisfying punch to it. So tell me about the process for making sure that you're designing a weapon sound-wise, the feel of it, the look of it, making sure it's authentically Star Wars, but also brand new, something that you've created.
we have to get inspiration from the past, get inspiration from the original trilogy, because this adventure happens in between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi.
Right.
So we had access to all of those things. And then the pleasure is looking at that, working with that, and coming up with something that sounds new and that become its own sound. And that extends from the sound design to, the music of the piece, which I think is remarkable. We
Yeah,
heard it
gorgeous.
in the trailer. It's fantastic.
Anytime I hear the horns, honestly, I'm goosebumps. It's crazy.
What did they do to her face? I don't care what anyone says. She doesn't look anything like the actress. The actress is beautiful. Hey, Vess. I mean, not that I'm not going to play the game because of what the protagonist looks like, but holy bejesus.
So we finally find our droid smith here then, I guess.
Yeah, who's not particularly happy to see you. So I'm not going to spoil the story, but the droid smith, Gadik, has a past with you.
Okay.
And he's ended up working with the Empire, so you know he's made some really bad decisions.
Oh, dear, yeah. It's not great. I mean, he's already got
I'm telling you, It's like the Jerry Seinfeld lighting episode.
a protocol droid firing a gun at us. I never thought I'd see that. But
It was a terrible shot.
I got a problem with a gatekeeper droid.
now that's caught his interest.
That's caught his interest.
Interesting.
There's a real challenge. There's
Water, I never even thought about it that way. Water says this looks like the guy who played in The Mask, not Jim Carrey, but the one that, which Cher played in. I know what mask you're talking about. You're 1,000%. 1,000%.
a real opportunity. It's not motivated by the credits, but tinkering around with some new tech.
I like
That's
it.
what catches his eye.
I could get on with this.
You're absolutely right, Vandal. Not everyone that does motion capture, like they did Indiana Jones, and Troy Baker played Harrison Ford, so they didn't use his face because Harrison Ford is Indiana Jones. You're absolutely correct by that. But why is this character like that? This is a brand new character. Her face could have been it. Her face could have been it.
This guy.
But, whatever.
But the problem is, once we extract...
If you don't want to use the actress's face, then let me customize the character. Let me customize the character. Let me make K-Vest the way I want to look like then.
Gadik. We have to get out as well, right?
That's where the blaster comes into its full use.
Nice.
So this is going to be part of one of those main quests. It's a linear quest, and there's a whole path where you explode into the combats, and you use all of the tools at your disposal.
Right.
Before we edited a little segment which was a puzzle room.
Right,
we didn't want to spoil the puzzle. We didn't want to spoil the traversal. We wanted to focus on the real action of this piece.
Great. And now we're getting some serious combat because there was no chance to sneak there. Everybody's just whipped over and saw us immediately.
Let's just escape.
But this is where Kay sort of comes into her own, because scoundrels, they love to improvise. They're good under pressure. And so I guess you want to be encouraging players to make sure they look around them, identify bits that are useful, send nicks out, play around with it a bit.
All of those tools, you've got an adrenaline shot. If you recognize that, it allows you to slow time, pick your targets, and it's an automatic kill.
Nice. That's a bit more of a problem, though.
This guy's got a shield, and one of your modules will be able to disable that shield, opening them up for the...
Wasn't that convenient?
The deadly shot.
Absolutely stunning.
And that's it. You grapple hook out and escape the base.
You make it seem so easy. I'm gonna try it, and it's not gonna be that.
I
easy.
wish I was playing this one. There's a whole team, and they've done an amazing job at capturing this one.
Yeah, I mean, right at the end there, we also got a little sizzle, a little taster of the rest of what's to come in the game. And one thing in particular I spotted there was some sabak happening as well.
Yep, sabak.
So you got to tell me about that because I love it.
Sabak is a big part of the scoundrel life.
So basically, you're going to be playing sabak like Gwent inside of The Witcher
style.
Yeah.
So we wanted to create our own rules, which gave us this depth of play and being able to collect special cards that change the rules of the game while you go along. So there'll be tournaments, there'll be high stakes games, there'll be a lot of credits to win as well.
Great. Well, I'll have to get practicing on that, definitely. But so I just want to say thank you so much for joining us. This has been incredibly insightful. Cannot wait to play the game, and it's not too long until launch. So
next week.
Buckle up. Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us, Julian. Next up, though, to celebrate the launch of Star Wars Outlaws, we decided to test some lucky fans on their Star Wars knowledge. Let's see how they go.
All right. We're not gonna watch that. I think there's a just handing out plushies and stuff, huh? Full court press.
In chat, and now it's over to Henry with one of the beautiful voices from Star Wars Outlaws.
You like how she said beautiful voices?
Hey, they did pretty good, but joining me now is Kay Vess.
Look at her. Why wouldn't you use that face?
Herself, Amelie Gonzalez. How you doing?
Happy to be here. Exciting.
They did pretty good on the quiz.
They did. I was answering along with them.
Yeah, you got them all right, obviously.
Obviously. Nick's did too. We're
Bro. I'm just trying to put myself in the position of the developer. We have this beautiful woman. We have this beautiful woman that we're using to use KVS. Let's uglify her. She's just too good looking.
He's got his drink. He's happy.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's perfect. Great. Now,
anybody that defends that it doesn't need to look like the actress, you're right. Let's just uglify the person. She's freaking gorgeous.
I'm the sort of person that loves to know a Star Wars fan in particular. So before we get into talking how you're actually in the game, break down for me. What was your first what was your Star Wars awakening? How did that come about?
Well, I grew up in Venezuela, so it was all in Spanish, and it was
Amazing.
Guerra de las Galaxias. So, you know, that's something I love about Star Wars, is that it doesn't matter the color of your skin, what language you speak, where in the world you are, you all have a Star Wars story, and mine just happened to be on the other side of, you know, South America.
First question would be to her is, so how do you feel that they didn't use your actual likeness in the game?
So it's exciting, you know, when I got to share about it with my family and friends. I got to relate to it in my language, in my culture.
What was their reaction when they first found out that, by the way, I'm actually going to be in it now?
Unreal. I mean, there was a lot of questions.
I'm sorry. I would have to ask Lono if he actually said that in that context. I don't think that's what he meant. I don't think that's what he meant. I understand what he's saying. Like, if she's poor, okay, she would look not as pretty in the game, which is fine. But would that mean they literally change her entire face because she's poor? Do you know what I mean? Like, you could put her face and make her look poor, okay? So you had to change her face completely because she doesn't come from anything? That's interesting. It's an interesting debate, I guess we could have.
I think my family also, especially my parents, they started watching all of the movies, especially when I shared that it was in the original trilogy between Empire and, you know, Return of the Jedi. So,
look, I can pause on one of any position on her face, and it's more attractive than anything they pause on the Star Wars character. Amazing.
Original trilogy between Empire and, you know, Return of the Jedi. So I did too. I think I like blasted the Star Wars theme song, and I watched the movies, and anytime I see anything Star Wars, I just have this like Star Wars. You know?
That's part of it.
I'm like,
yeah, that's us. That's us. In terms of Kay and playing the role of a scoundrel, where did you have to go for that? What did you have to reach into to sort of conjure up this character?
I mean, obviously, we've seen scoundrels in...
How did you get into the character of looking poor?
This timeline, like the likes of Han Solo and Lando Calrissian. But they're so confident. They have the expertise. They know what they're doing because they're out there in the galaxy. Unlike Kay, she's a rookie. She's not an expert scoundrel, but... You know, she's a survivalist, and her and Nyx, you know, survive off of odd jobs and Canto Bay, and their dream.
Amazing. Why even capture her face? Just to put motion capture, I guess. But you could have
dreaming of more.
Amazing.
I love the attitude, you know, the charm, the witty banter, the swagger that they have. And, you know, those characters were obviously inspiration, but I got to try to bring my own heart to it. You know, K-Vess has flaws. She's imperfect. She has a vulnerability that I feel I brought to the role even from the first tape that I sent in back in 2022, you know? So that's something, you know, it's a collaboration from the whole team.
Well, the whole team's really important to it because when you're playing through it and you even hear the like banter between K and ND5 and you're like, God, I really am a K-Vess. This is so relatable.
Yeah,
it's awesome. Yeah. What's it like working with a wider team then on building a new cast of characters to put into a franchise like Star Wars? Did you have to work together too much or?
Absolutely. I mean, when you walk into a franchise that's already established, I guess you understand so much of it, the tone, you know, just kind of the general vibe of.
Really? Because if you look at the TV shows, you would think they would understand what Star Wars is, but that's not what they're making on the television side.
What we're making.
At least she understands what Star Wars is.
But because it's motion capture,
right,
you require so much aid in visualizing what the world is going to look like. I don't have the luxury of relying on sets and costumes and hair and makeup. I mean, we're in the mocap studio in like these cat suits, wetsuits with these markers. We're in a volume surrounded by hundreds of infrared cameras that are capturing our every movement. It's a lot more intentional. You have to have this awareness of your body and your instrument. And you rely so much on the director, the writer, the storyboards. Sometimes they say, okay, we're about to.
No, I don't think it has anything to do. Like, I don't care about the protagonist being a male or a female character. I don't care about that. Right? I'm just baffled that you bring in an actress and you could bring in, I don't know, 9 out of 10 voice actors to play a character and you see their faces in some way, shape, or form, unless it's a character already established, or unless it's a animated character that obviously has been established in other games or whatnot. But to use her and not use her face, it's just a little weird, right?
To do this kind of scene, so they pull up, you know, inspiration from the TV shows, from movies that have previously been done to capture just the air of what we're trying to make, because we have to create it in our mind's eye.
So that must be a completely different way of bringing characters to life compared to like film or television, which you have done before, and you have worked in games before, but this is clearly the most involved project that you've ever been on, right?
From top to bottom. I mean, I'm there every day in almost every scene. I've recorded over like 11,400 lines for the game.
That's a lot of lines. That's a lot of lines.
So I hope you enjoy my voice. You're going to hear a lot of it. It's expansive, you know, and
I like how she said, I hope you like my voice. Wait, what did she say?
If you enjoy my voice, you're going to hear a lot of it.
I hope you enjoy my voice. You're going to hear a lot of it. She could have said, I hope you like the way I look and sound, because you'll see a lot of me. But you're not seeing her at all.
It's expansive, you know, and it takes years to create it. They've been working on it for a couple years before I jumped on back in 2022. So it's a long process. It's an incredible journey. I truly have grown alongside K-Vess. So even though I've done video games before, leading a game requires a lot more responsibility.
I want to look up what other games she's done and see if they've used her face.
But I was ready for it.
Totally. I can't wait to play the game, honestly. It just looks absolutely incredible. Surely they had a real-life Nyx, at least, to help with that.
Obviously, we had him on set.
Yeah, of course. The inspiration's there.
Yeah, she seems like a really good,
so much
like,
for
good
joining
personality.
me. I cannot wait to play the game. It's not too long till it launches either, so
I know.
You're going to get to see how other people react. It's hitting people on August 30th. I'm going to get my Sabak face ready for it so that I'm good to go.
Keep your cards close.
Very close.
You can use Nyx to cheat, but don't tell anyone.
He's great for that.
I do like her voice.
I'll let you enjoy the rest of your Gamescom. Thanks
Thank you.
But coming up, we celebrate 20 years
But why use her voice? You could just use AI.
Of World of Warcraft. With the new War Within expansion, we're going to find out what fans can expect from the latest Elder Scrolls Online update. And next up, we're catching up with the team from 2 Point Studios on their latest title, 2 Points Museum.
Come here, girl, and accept your punishment.
Greetings from the amazing CSUN Games, developers of the upcoming cross-platform online multiplayer game Mecha Break, launching in 2025. Let's showcase some gameplay through Mecha Break's core mode, 6 versus 6.
I love the entrance for Mecha Break. Who cares what people look like?
Let's showcase.
Who cares?
Some gameplay through Mecha Break's core mode.
Eastman, it's funny though you're saying that. You're like, who cares who uses her face in other games? That would be completely different. People like what things look like. Hence why certain characters, even if it's like a robot, they're like, oh, that robot's cool. That robot isn't cool, right? They like cool things. They like things to look good. That's it. You want to make that, if it's shallow or something, cool. But people like people looking good. Hence why they're attractive people in movies that bring people in, right? And if you're not attractive, you better be funny.
6 versus 6 squad missions. We'll demo the Eye of Mizra map, where the goal is to earn points by capturing and uploading launch keys. The striker we're featuring is Falcon.
No one's talking about jerking it off to her in a video game, right? I like real women. I'm not going to obsess over a cartoon, but that's not the point. The point is people like things to look good. If you're not going to use the character, let me customize a character. Let me customize a character like I could in basically every RPG game. Let me make the character myself.
A lightweight mech that excels in aerial combat. Players can maneuver during their dive into the fight, controlling their landing spot at the match's start to open strategic options.
No, she definitely doesn't look fine. Yeah, I know what fine you're talking about. She definitely doesn't look fine, though.
That can turn the tide of battle. For example, Falcon excels in aerial strikes and reconnaissance. Pilots must be agile, coordinating hit-and-run tactics with teammates while staying under the radar. We've refined combat to ensure it feels satisfying both in the air and on the ground, with each mech.
I love that's the first thing, though. Like, everyone thinks like everyone's just jerking off to every character in a video game.
Having unique attributes distinct from other shooters. Each striker has unique speeds, inertia handling, and specialized combat capabilities for seamless transitions between aerial and ground attacks. When implementing that, our main challenge was balancing air and ground mechs, given the varying visibility.
This looks fun.
And
this looks fun.
Across our maps. We address this by carefully assessing each mech's strengths and weaknesses in multiple scenarios. On the Mercury Shipyards map, the goal is to move a payload to the finish line. Seizing checkpoints along the way speeds up the payload. Brace yourself and face threats from both the air and ground with your squad. Showcasing another striker, Tricera. Wielding dueling Gatling guns, Tricera is a ground-based striker that often serves as the tank for a team, boosting efficiency when pushing the payload. Tricera's Fortress Room features an anti-missile system that uniquely protects the payload, or control points. Another powerful ground striker is Stego.
They could have lowered the gunplay just a little bit and had the announcer speak a little louder, but hey, whatever.
When transformed, Stego specializes in long-range fire support as an ultra-heavy striker armed with the big guns. On the Krob Sinkhole map, the goal is to collect mining data by capturing data nodes, making teamwork and strategy essential.
What I like about this game right now is that the map is not, it's verticality instead of wide. So yeah, you're capturing points, but you're capturing points on different levels. I like that.
Panther is a brawler equipped with a powerful lance and shield booster kit. Panther's devastating charged attacks and defense capabilities make it a fearsome opponent in close combat. But Panther...
Oh, is this actually... No, they're all on the ground. I thought one was in the air.
...isn't the only brawler in Mecha Break. Be prepared to face Aleseness and Welcome, two melee machines with unique abilities that can take out enemies both at a distance and up close. The brawlers have unique finishing moves that keep the action intense.
It needs more lasers. It doesn't have enough lasers.
Sky Raider is a powerful and swift air attacker that can transform into a bomber to rain fire on enemy forces.
I know someone's going to tell me, they're not lasers, 30. I understand it. More gunfire.
The elegant yet lethal Narukami rules the battlefield with pinpoint sniping and advanced optical camouflage, making it almost impossible to capture the stun. We invite you to join us on this exciting journey with Mecha Break. Stay tuned for its commercial release in 2025.
Welcome, esteemed guests.
I don't think we need to do that. That's 2-Point Museum. What is this?
At home as well. In the life, check out what you can expect from Max Caulfield and the gang in this new gameplay walkthrough.
Max Caulfield, the girl who could rewind time, is back.
Let's thrash, Shocker Bra.
But when one of her new friends, Safi Llewellyn Fayyad, is murdered in the grounds of
I can't play this game. You know why? Girl's too attractive.
Caledon University, Max finds that her chaotic power has changed. Now, Max must shift back and forth to reveal the truth of her friend's murder in an attempt to save Safi before it's too late. Once Max's new power manifests, she can send a pulse out from her fingertips at any time. While Pulse is active, she can peer through to the other world, seeing the differences between the timelines clearly. People and objects in the other timeline appear as dimensional echoes, allowing Max to avoid watchful eyes when shifting.
Good thing I can keep an eye on Alderman from here. Wouldn't want to show up right in front of him.
Yeah, she's got the Madam Web powers. Water.
What the hell?
While Pulse shimmers around her, she can also see places where the veil between the two timelines is at its thinnest. These shift points are where she can push through to the opposite timeline.
Be a cool
to help
ability
her
to have.
investigation in a multitude of ways.
Oh,
You need me to hold something, or
actually, yeah. I need an Allen wrench.
got one around here?
No, I borrowed one from Carla, but I think she took it back. If you can go grab that from her, I'll owe you.
This could be to solve a puzzle, convince a character to reveal a secret, or retrieve an object lost in one timeline by borrowing it from another.
Better give this wrench
That would alter a bunch of shit, wouldn't it?
to Moses.
Shift points work in both directions, so you can shift back and forth from the same spot.
So I found this guy named Alan, but he didn't know anything about...
But the real question is, Vandal, if the voice actress is ugly, or did they pretty her up, or did they ugly her down? I don't know. We'll have to look it up.
about a wrench.
No, Max, not literally Allen. It's... Oh. You are a lifesaver, Max. Dad joke aside.
I'll never apologize for my dad jokes.
If you're worried about losing track of which timeline you're in, well, Max herself may get confused too.
Have you talked to Reggie since yesterday? Reggie?
I don't know. I've been playing Midnight Suns.
Wrong Loretta, Max.
Game looks pretty good now.
In the options, you can
I
toggle
like the CW
a UI
stuff.
indicator every time you shift, confirming the reality you've
This
just
is
arrived
this
in.
is a game that you would
As
what
well
you
as
took around
lacking
all the
visual
action out of it and
cues
just made it
such as
CW.
cheery Christmas decor in the timeline where Safi is alive. Most importantly to Max's investigation, everyone you meet has an
Well, crowded, not always. That you can't say always anymore. Most of the time. Most of the time.
increasingly divergent duplicates in the other timeline. Depending on which timeline you're in, they'll react to Max and her probing questions very differently. A grief-sodden conversation in one timeline
Looks like Paul Rudd.
may unlock an unexpected heart-to-heart in the other.
Grief is hard. The trick is
Oh no,
not
know who
to
it looks
let
like?
change your character.
What's his name from what's that actor name? He played Mr. Fantastic in the multiverses.
Everyone at Caledon
What's
is
his name?
hiding something, and Max is the only one with a viewpoint unique enough to unravel those secrets, and the determination to reach the truth at all costs.
Everybody's talking about her like she had a heart attack or a car
He's
accident.
Pool Rod.
She was murdered. Someone murdered her. I don't know how we're expected to just be okay with that.
Max has never been so powerful or in so much danger. The fates of her friends and of two timelines are at Max's fingertips.
Double exposure. Is it the expansion to World of Warcraft? Oh, Troy Baker? Is that Troy Baker? Ugh. More cool looking characters. Oh, those trailers back in the day, Krebsy, were just amazing. Like Elder Scrolls, that whole production. What's it called that they showed the other day? That's amazing. All those shorts that they're going to be doing.
Has had a massive impact on the gaming world, as well as myself, since it launched nearly 2 decades ago. And here to give us a glimpse into their plans for the latest expansion, The War Within, the 3-part World Soul Saga, and the next 20 years of World of Warcraft, we have 2 excellent humans, and thankfully not orcs.
Next 20
Horde,
years.
from the team at Blizzard. Please, Ian and Tina, introduce yourselves.
Hi, I am Tina Wang, Associate Art Director on The War Within. Super excited to be here and getting to chat with the Xbox community.
Hi, and I'm Ian Hazzikostas, Game Director on World of Warcraft. Really hyped to be here in Cologne at Gamescom, and excited to be part of the Microsoft family. Even though we're just a humble PC game, we've been welcomed into the Xbox fold,
20
and
years,
it's wonderful.
man.
No, I'm so excited for
Crazy.
you guys to be here, especially as today is such a huge day for World of Warcraft. Can you tell us what's going on?
We got a little thing or two brewing. I think in something like 8 hours and 10 minutes, but who's counting? We're going to be
Oh, is today the
launching
day?
early access of the War Within, to be followed a few days later by the global release.
No, I'm so excited for it. And to kind of get it hyped up at Gamescom on the booth over here, we have got one of the coolest experiences I think I've ever had at any gaming booth. It is the Escape from Dalaran, and as like a big WoW fan, it was incredible. Have you had a go?
Yeah, it's like, so this is a 4-minute VR experience. You're like, strapped in to this motorized device. You have air jets blowing in your face to simulate air rushing by you. And you are soaring through Dalaran in the middle of a surprise attack launched by the forces of Xal'atath and the Nerubians that very much mirrors what players are going to experience at the start of the War Within in the days to come.
Yeah, and you did mention that this is the start of a brand new era for World of Warcraft. Can you tell us the new features and what we can expect with the War Within?
Yeah, so the War Within is our 10th expansion, and I'm biased, but it's going to be a banger. It's the beginning of the World Soul Saga, which is the greatest story we've ever tried to tell. And it's a story so big that we needed to make 3 expansions to tell it fully.
Insane.
And so the way this kicks off, champions and heroes around the world have been seeing these troubling visions.
I talked about that years ago, Altern.
Like the world herself.
I talked about that years ago about Jeff Keighley.
And as they investigate the source of this phenomenon,
he's like, these guys are
that journey leads them
destroying the industry.
A land
they
that
marketed
is known as Khazan.
They marketed everything. They have a monopoly on it, and then all of a sudden he comes around. Now it's one man controls the entire industry.
Attack and begin to see the face of their foe, and that is one Xal'atath. And so it starts out as a mystery, and that mystery will lead players into the underground of Azeroth, towards the heart of the world itself, into just fantastical environments, and it's just going to be an incredible adventure.
No, I can't wait. And Tino, I know you've got a load of brand new features that are going to be coming with the expansion. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I mean, Ian mentioned the zones. One of the things that we really love about World of Warcraft is that the world is such like a main character of it, right? So one of the key things coming out is these zones, and they're definitely some of the most ambitious and unique that we've ever created for World of Warcraft. For instance, delving underground, that's a unique.
Yeah, Jeff Keighley is the Thanos of the video game industry. Right now, he's got 3 stones. He's trying to complete the glove.
Challenge. And so while we have zones that meet player expectations with like the ringing deeps where we have ancient forges and lava and these beautiful caverns, we also have an incredible zone called Hallowfall, where we have this crystalline ceiling and the crystal that shifts from light to dark. And then our deepest zone, Azj-Kahet, this is where you will find Queen Ansrek herself, in partnership with Xal'atath. And you get to see the height of the Nerubian Empire.
Yeah, no, and also there's of course, one of the big things with World of Warcraft as well, dungeons. Can you tell us about a few of the new dungeons that we're going to have, right, in the War Within?
Oh, yeah. So one of the fun ones as part that you get to experience as...
Oh, to answer your question, Waterbear, from the other day, I would 1,000% play Warcraft if it came to console.
Part of the story is this one that's the rookery that you find on the Isle of Dorne. And so you get to experience part of the culture of Khazan, seeing these riders, these storm riders. So that one is super fun. And then in Hallowfall, another favorite would be one where you're actually on an airship. So you get to fly around, there's epic battles, and you see that glowing crystal just in the backdrop.
Is that crystal? Oh, so I was going
to say, when we were setting out to build these underground environments, one of the challenges was making sure that it didn't feel claustrophobic, didn't feel oppressive. Like the zone of Hallowfall, it is so vast an underground space.
Any of you guys still play? Have you? Any of you been playing World of Warcraft the entire time, 20 years?
That the inhabitants need airships to traverse it. And so
I played from when it launched to 2011, and then I stopped.
It's like when you're down there, it's like you're in this underground world unto itself.
No, and it was really one of the really cool things, we were talking about it a little bit earlier on, was that the crystal changes, doesn't it, to impact the gameplay?
Yeah.
Which I'm really excited for. What other features do you have coming with the expansion as well?
Oh, so one of the things that we've built is Delves, which is a new feature for the expansion. And something that is a priority to us for Delves is that it really caters to a group of our audience that historically has been a little underserved by the end game progression loop that we have for those who maybe raid or do Mythic Plus. So these ones, our outdoor world players, as we call it, we want them to feel like you're adventuring through the world and you come across just this mysterious location, whether you're diving into a sinkhole or...
Not much, Sarge. We watched Mecha Breaker trailer type stuff. We watched Outlaws, Star Wars Outlaws, more information about it. We saw an interview from the actress who plays Kves.
Seeing some tracks lead into Dark Cave. We want you to be able to encounter these and still
I never played
increase the
Pandas,
difficulty
Krebsy.
level as you play so that you can progress your item level week to week.
So delves are they're handcrafted experiences. They're
Jones says, in my youth, I didn't smoke, drink, or play WoW. I avoided all the major vices.
13 locations around the zones of the War Within, and they're really meant to be a new alternative to dungeons, raids, and PvP as like a new pillar of endgame progression. Whereas before, as Tina mentioned, if you're someone who's mostly a solo player, you have maybe 1 or 2 friends, you don't do the larger group content, you could, enjoy the story, you could quest, but at some point your journey would unfortunately feel like it came to a stopping point.
Same.
We want to make sure that all playstyles
I did the same.
feel welcome and feel like they have progression. And that's something, as we think about the features that we're offering in our new expansion, a lot of it is about playing the game the way you want to play it, having that flexibility.
That is true, Altern. We did realize how uglified they made her.
Here's to your playstyle. So like a couple of our other major features are warbands, which for once unifies the progression on most facets among your alts. So instead of having every character needing to earn reputation separately or their own currency, all of the characters on your account are now part of a warband. So the first thing you see when you log into World of Warcraft...
They made a speeder bike already? Oh, for fuck's sake. They're fast. Those modders that are not making mods for Starfield because Starfield's dead, they're fast at making a mod for a game that's dead, that no one's modding for.
The War Within is going to be not just one character standing there stiffly, but multiple characters huddled around a campfire representing your band of adventurers that you're taking into Azeroth.
All that grinding, getting all your characters ranked up and leveled up, just seeing them all together would be amazing.
It's honestly quite sentimental to see them all hanging out.
I have to make sure I do all the transmogs all correctly and just make sure they all look great.
Exactly. And then we've already seen people taking screenshots and sharing them of this is your lineup. And then we've reimagined the way flying and traversal work in World of Warcraft. There's a dynamic physics-based system called skywriting that's more than double the speed of what flying used to be back in the day. And so just getting from point A to point B should feel exciting. It should feel like an adventure, and that's what we're trying to offer.
I always used to love that. I still remember the first time Burning Crusade where I got my flying mount for the first time and I had 60% move speed, and I was like, I'll get there eventually. Just give me some time.
Yeah, these are more 600%.
Oh yeah, that's going to be way faster. Just do some tricks and blitz
just
across. Yeah, that's amazing. One of the other big things with World of Warcraft is there was a perception for older players.
You think that, Krebsy? I just saw what you wrote. You think they're going to make a World of Warcraft 2? I don't know.
And players that people have never played before. The War Within, you've kind of aimed to change that. Can you tell us a little bit more? What can players expect when they log in for the first time?
Yeah, really, it's features like what we've just been talking about. It's making sure that there is a deep solo experience if that's what you want. If you only have a little bit of time to spare, those delves take 15 to 20 minutes. Of course, if you want to, if you have hours on a weekend, there's an entire world to explore. We have hardcore raids to challenge, the boldest of adventurers and their friends as they coordinate to overcome these challenges. But I think, World of Warcraft is a game that can be played in so many different ways today to suit your, preferred content, play style, available time, and that's something that we really want to just keep doubling down on.
Respect the player's time.
A lot of people, when they think about World of Warcraft, they think, oh, it's too big, there's too much stuff to do, but really it's it's a world and that everyone can play the way that is fulfilling to them.
Respect the player's time.
Opportunities
Go on,
to hop straight into the new content as well. It's one of the things I've always liked. Our whole Xbox One team, when Classic came back out, we all hopped back in for one of those reasons.
Exactly, and I think as any WoW player knows, a new expansion is the perfect time to come back to WoW. I think the War Within in particular, because of the fact that, it's kicking off this brand new story arc, we've also revamped the new player experience, the level up experience from 10 to 70 that gets you to the War Within to be our latest expansion, Dragonflight.
Yeah.
So if you're coming back or you're coming in for the first time, you are playing the latest, newest content WoW has to offer, learning the ropes, and joining the rest of the world in the War Within.
No, I'm really excited. And also, World of Warcraft, I can't believe I'm saying this, is coming up to its 20th anniversary. What does that feel like being a part of the WoW team and for all the players?
It is. It is humbling. Truly, I've been playing the game for all 20 of those years. I've been on the development team for 16 years now. Like the large majority of my adult life has really been shaped and formed by this game, and it's an honor. And I think I'm so excited to
it's exactly right, Sarge.
That
It feels
20th
old.
anniversary coming up, but also kick off many years to come.
Yeah.
I'm also a long-time veteran in the game, playing since the beginning, playing since Warcraft 3, and been on the team like 14 years now. And there are so many of these stories on the World of Warcraft team, and you can.
She's been on the team for 14 years. She does not look that old. Like, that means she's in the mid-30s. She's pushing maybe 40 now.
See that in what we put out there, just people putting like their passion and their history with the game into everything that we make.
That's if she started at 20.
It's amazing. Like, I personally love it. I can still remember growing up playing from the Burning Crusade, Wrath of the Lich King, and it's so exciting to hit that 20-year mark. But for players that are looking to get involved in World of Warcraft for the first time and become part of the community, what can they do right now?
Yeah, I mean, so, we're talking about an expansion, but the basic World of Warcraft experience, you can play for free in our starter edition. You can level up to 20. You can experience the start of Dragonflight. And, just go to worldofwarcraft.com, download Battle.net, install it, jump in and check it out.
No, I'd really recommend it. It's one of my favorite games of all time, and it's no surprise it's coming up to the 20-year anniversary. Do you have any final thoughts that you'd like to share with the fans?
It's just such an exciting moment, really. I think coming up on 20 years, but also beginning this next step in our journey. The team has been working on War Within for years. We have so many years of content ahead that we have mapped out, that we have planned out. It's going to be this incredible journey narratively, in terms of the world we're building, in terms of the features. And we're excited to welcome everyone in to begin it with us, and buckle up, because it's going to be a heck of a ride.
Yeah, no, I honestly, thank you so much. I've got one also final question. Horde or Alliance?
Depends on my mood that day.
She's a horde.
Safe answer.
Oh, stop. She's a horde. I can see it. I can see it in her face.
What about you, Tuna?
My mood is more often Horde. Put it that way.
It's shifted over time. Currently, I'm more playing Alliance.
See, that's why.
More currently. See? She was Horde. More currently, she's been playing Alliance.
I like always the Alliance. I've been Alliance since day one, right? And I will stick to that with the War Within. But honestly, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it, you taking us through the War Within. But here, also, just a pro tip to avoid your own War Within. Please check out World of Warcraft, the War Within expansion, when it launches August 26th. Also, coming up, we'll give you a tour of the Xbox booth right here at Gamescom. Check out what studios have in store for fans here. And also, we celebrate a decade of Elder Scrolls Online with a look at the latest chapter, Gold Road. We also unveil the real name of Project Birdseye. But first, it's time for a cinematic horror experience. This is the casting of Frank Stone.
This place is like super duper creep town, right? Everything's still so fuzzy about what happened, but
This is like Knives Out, but the video game
there's
version.
one thing that always just stuck in my mind.
Sorry, I can't. I'm coming.
Is the people that made this the people that made Once Human? Oh, not Once Human. What was that other game? Quantum Break. Quantum Break. No.
Just starting to see what we're up against.
Not Quantum Break. What was
Your call, Chris.
the hell was that thing with the robots and the
Drugstore.
the hell was
I
that
don't
game
wanna risk
called?
Missing our chance.
Sure. Curiosity Shop does look pretty cool.
We can check it out after. Fair enough. I don't know what I expected, but it wasn't this.
After 40 years of pain, why would you choose to live with more?
okay, are you? I'm sleepwalking through a nightmare and I just can't seem to wake up.
There's no reward for me when I've
No,
done
no,
what
no.
I've got to do.
Not Atomic Heart. It's a game that came out like 5 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago. It was three. You were playing like 3 or 4 different characters through different time points and stuff. And you were like a detective. You were like a robot trying to become human. I forget what the hell it was called. Detroit. That's it. Detroit Become Human. Is this the same developers?
No.
This is insane!
I can't live like this anymore. I can't live in this nightmare.
Come on, come on, come on.
It's a prison. Something far older.
What is that?
That is Frag Stone.
Welcome, everybody, to the...
All right. Real quick, I want to bring up a topic real fast before we go into watch more videos. We're talking about... A lot of people were talking about like how Xbox is struggling and how they're going to go under and whatnot. I did this a couple of... I guess it's about over a year ago. I wanted to bring up some numbers, right? In comparison from what Netflix started at and what Netflix became. And they were the first ones to do what they were doing in the television and film, where they were just doing DVD rentals, and then they went to digital, and then they went to original content, and they were a subscription service, okay? And everyone thought it was going to fail. They thought it wasn't going to make it. They thought Blockbuster was going to completely overshadow them and whatnot. And so what happened was, this is how Netflix started off, right? So this article is from earlier this year, from April, but they show you a trajectory of where Netflix was when they started to what they are today. Okay. Now, when they first started the subscriptions type of service, and again, I'm just making comparisons because everyone always says that Game Pass is the Netflix of video games. Okay. When Netflix started what they started, there was no one else doing what they were doing. So we listened to Michael Packner on David Jaffe's podcast the other day. They were having a conversation. And he said that Netflix doesn't know what they're doing because no one did it before them. So they were trying to figure out what to do. And slowly, okay, by year 7, they were around, I think it was like 10 million or so. Here's a list, right? Year 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they're at 7.32. We're on year 8. They were at 9.16. Okay. Now, in comparison to what Game Pass is doing, they've only been around since 2017. This chart here only goes from 2020. Okay. So they're looking from 420, okay, to February of 2024. But they started in 2017, so within 3 years, they made it to the 10 million mark in their first 3 years. Compared to Netflix, in their first 3 years, only made 1.41, okay? Now, if we look at the growth from this, they exponentially got bigger and bigger and bigger, and they hit the point where they went from, in 2009, in year 9, okay, to year 10, they went from 11 to 18 million, bigger and bigger, because more people started adopting and accepting digital goods, digital movies, digital whatever, okay? And then slowly, not until later down, where it did another big jump between the 54 million and 70, and then 70 to 89, and then, so we're talking 16 years in, they finally made it to the 110 million mark, okay? Now, I don't believe it'll take Xbox that long. I don't think it'll take 16 years to get to the point that they want to make because they have different options that they can do. But right now, in year 2, they're at 15. Year 3, they're at 18. Year 4, actually, sorry. Let's rewind because they started in 17. So 17, 18, 19, 20. So there's already 4 years. So year 5, okay, they're at 10 mil. Netflix at year 5, okay, was at 6 mil. Okay. In year 6, they were at 15 mil. In year 6, they're at 7 mil. Right? 18, then 25. So 8 and 9, year 9, they're at 18. So they're ahead of what Netflix was doing in the video game industry. Now, I understand it's completely different. One's video, one's television and film and whatnot. But they're ahead of what they're doing. So everyone looks at this and says that Game Pass is failing. Game Pass is not making money. Game Pass. Then they shot from 25 to 34. Okay. And that's a big jump from, and that would be year, 9? Okay. So year 9, they're at 18. We'll just give them year 10. They're at 24 million compared to 34 million. So, or no, absolutely, Sarge, it still counts. This is why I'm making a comparison. So now, in year 10, they're at the 24 million mark, and in their year 10, they're at the 34 million mark. And now they've already shifted and moved over, and people are like, well, you don't need to buy consoles anymore. What does that mean for Xbox fans? What does that mean for people? Like, Xbox has shifted, just like Netflix has shifted from physical. They got rid of the DVDs now. Can't get DVDs anymore, I don't think. And it's all digital now, right? It's all original shows. It's all original things. And this is why what Xbox is doing. They have third-party games. Netflix has third-party films because they couldn't make all the stuff. Then they make first-party titles, right? They make original content. Xbox makes first-party titles, okay? They make stuff where they also put it on other things. They also take other people's things and put them on here, and vice versa. So there's a lot of comparisons with Netflix and Game Pass, and I was just kind of bringing this up because a lot of people don't see the forest through the trees, right? They think that the 34 million is laughable, but in business, especially within the less than 10 years, they made it to 34 million. In less than 10 years for Netflix, they only made 24 million. So more people are adopting into the digital realm. More people are understanding that this is where it's going, and this is what the future that Xbox sees. So if going forward, year 10, 11, 12, 13 is the same. Now, obviously, we can't make that comparison yet, but if next year they go from 34 million to 42 million, and then 42 million to 50 million, within, the 10 years or 15 years cycle, they could make it took them 16 years, Netflix, to get to the 100 million mark. And then they went from 100 million to 200 million, okay, in just 3 years. Okay, it took them 16 years from 2001 to 2017 to get to 100 million, right? And it only took them 3 more years to get to 200 million, okay? So, again, exponentially faster and faster. You see it with, like, YouTube channels. You see it with other content creation out there. That it's a struggle to get to a certain point. But then once you get to that point, all of a sudden, it's like going downhill, and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And they only want to get to 100 million. Well, to get to 100 million, we just watched World of Warcraft, right? I said they could get to 100 million easily. They could either take Game Pass or whatever you want to call it, and they can merge it into Battle.net or Battle.net into Game Pass, and they could just move those guys over, boom, and they get 100 million real easy, right? They could take all of these things that they bought and now own, combine them into one, and then just like that, they go from 34 million, and yes, they fudge the numbers, because there's people that have a lower thing, other people on the old system, people on Battle.net, whatever. If they're all paying for the service of Game Pass in some way, shape, or form, okay, they exponentially grow from the 34 million all the way up to 100 million within just a couple of years, okay? So I just wanted to kind of point that out to people, that a lot of people make the comparison. It's Netflix of video games, and Netflix is Netflix against everybody else, and all these other streaming services are struggling, but at the same time, Netflix struggled for the longest time, and then they got a foothold, and then they grew it exponentially, and now everyone's chasing them. And that is what Microsoft is trying to do with Game Pass, in my opinion, right? In my opinion. Sarge says that's the definition of standard growth. Waterbear says, what I think is this is console sales. Xbox is struggling, and they saw this, so they made the pivot to digital before anyone else, and they are now the leaders in the industry. Right, they're trying to get a foothold in the industry early on, right? Everyone else was pointing and laughing, going, that'll never work, right? And they have enough bankroll to make it work, right? Eclipse says, I just found a hidden boss chapter in Wukong. This game is so awesome. Rebsy says the Xbox platform is failing. Xbox gaming division isn't failing. But I don't think the Xbox platform is failing. I think the Xbox platform is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. If people want console, they buy the console. If they want to play it on the cloud, they play it on the cloud. If they want to play whatever, right? There's more options for people. If doing this faster will cause them to saturate the market quicker, then what? This is why I don't think they'll ever get rid of console, right? This is why they're putting it everywhere. If Game Pass maxes out at 100 million, they're still making money, right? That's not their only business model, right? The saturation point for Netflix was the movies and stuff. This is why they had to put more money into original content to bring more people in. Then they had to lock it down because there was 200 million people, but they were sharing passwords, so they cracked down on that, and now they expanded from 200 million to 260 million, right? If you go back to this number, right, 2021 to 2020, 2021 to 2022, and then 2022 to 2023 is 26. They went up 30 million in 1 year. Okay, from 22 to 23, and I think I forget what they are now. Okay, but their saturation point for Netflix is this is why they're getting into gaming. They're trying to get more value for theirs. That's why they're trying to give more saturation point. Okay, Xbox's saturation point, even if they hit 100 million for Game Pass, they have other avenues. They have the microtransactions, they have the console sales, they have the peripherals for the controllers, they have contracts, they have there's lots of different things that they have coming in. It's not just Game Pass. They're not putting all their eggs into Game Pass. Game Pass is just the one thing that's pushing it all forward. Barbear says if Game Pass continues to get bigger, it's to continue to increase the profit. If not, it's going to become a business model that only loses money in the end and not post a profit. Again, Game Pass might hit a saturation point, but console sales hits a saturation point. Consoles have hit a saturation point for the last decade. No one has ever sold more than the PlayStation 2. The Switch came along, right? Did Nintendo go bankrupt and go bad because of the Wii U? No. The Wii U was an absolute devastating console they created, and they just pivoted and make a different system. Sarge says if there are multiple ways to get the Game Pass, then it doesn't matter on how many consoles Microsoft sells. It matters how many people sign up in whatever hardware they have. Exactly. Let's see. Eclipse says, we know that software makes more money on hardware, right? This is how Microsoft is one of the richest companies in the world. Exactly. Roadkill says, yeah, but we're also getting more people on this planet every single day. I mean, who's to say that it won't go past that? Sure, but this is what I'm saying. Everyone's saying that it's dead. They make fun of, well, it's only 34 million. It's only 34 million. Like, only 34 million. That's 34 million people that are recurring revenue from them. And if they're all paying $10 a month, that's $34 million a month, but we're $340 million a month. Sorry, $340 million a month. Okay, doing nothing, right? They're saving money because they're not making the consoles, they're not making the discs, they're not making the right, and that's just Game Pass. That's not including the people that pay for the thing. Right? And I love people that are like, oh, Xbox is dead, Xbox is done. But yet, when they buy a game like Call of Duty now, that money's going to Xbox, on PlayStation, on PC, on whatever platform, that goes to Microsoft. Okay? They're all over the place. Right? They're saying, in one sentence, they're saying the consoles are dead, but they don't care about consoles. And when I say they don't care about consoles, it's not their major selling point of Xbox. Xbox is play anywhere. Game Pass. It's all these things. It's not just console. I don't think Xbox will ever ditch it. I think it'll be a very small part of their sales going forward. But I don't think they'll ever get rid of consoles. Or I shouldn't say console. A device. In some way, shape, or form, there will be a device that Xbox makes that you can play your games. It's just to say it goes to Microsoft, Xbox is dead. Microsoft is alive and strong. Right. And it continues on. It's like I made this analogy like Obi-Wan when he says, you strike me down, I'll be more powerful than you ever imagined. So even if they lose their console, you could knock them down, but they'll become more powerful than ever because not only are they going to have their hands in third-party games and software and subscription models, they'll be everywhere. But I don't think they'll ever get rid of the console. They will have some sort of device to play always. I don't know if it'll be a standard console that we know of today, but it'll definitely have a device that you can play it on. So I just wanted to point that out about Netflix. Let's go back to the show. Let me see what they're showing here. Is this Diablo? What is this? This is...
Frag Punk.
Yo! Hate rules? Frag Punk's here to spice them up. We're the 5v5 FPS that lets you bend the rules with cards. Cards can
Oh, here we go. Another 5v5.
literally do anything. They can beef you up. They can change the weather. They even interact with each other. So you can blast people up even more. Or find foes when they try to be sneaky. Crush them with massive force. But remember, they've got tricks of their own. If you're down on luck, then you better have a good team with you.
What is happening to the gaming industry? Sorry, Roadkill, I got your thing up. What is happening to the gaming industry? Have we all lost our minds? Is every game company making a live service looter, or I'm sorry, a live service first person hero shooter? What is happening, people?
Game is ever too close to call, then be ready to duke it out one-on-one till the last one stands. Bend the rules in Frag Punk.
I like it. I'm a cut piece if I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it.
Okay. This is a commercial. Let's fast forward here. Oh, is that seems like a game. Okay.
Another prison guard. Good luck, mate. You're gonna need it. There's one escape pod left. But you're not the only geezer bolting after it. There's a lot of wankers between you and the sweet taste of freedom. Just a bunch of psychos gunning for the same prize. A lot like me. Better luck next time, mate. You might make it farther than the last pig I murked. Even took down some big boys
Kind of reminds me of like Smash TV a little bit.
along the way. But the lost guard, well, they ain't exactly dead. Looks like one of you guards finally put some big boy pants on. Brilliant. 'Cause it's just getting started. close. Maybe the next
Crafton. They're coming out with a lot of they're publishing a lot of stuff.
God will do better.
Well, Redacted looks absolutely amazing. We're super excited to be officially revealing the game today. It's from the minds behind the Callisto Protocol, and it's a frenetic roguelike with a darkly comic twist. Here to tell us more, please welcome the head of Striking Distance Studios, Steve Paputsis, and creative director, Ben Walker. Guys, welcome to Germany. How are you?
Thank you so much for having us today. It's great to be here.
Awesome.
So this isn't the first time that we've actually seen the trailer. We've seen it where it was under the code name Project Birdseye. Can you tell us a little bit about the secrecy and about Redacted now?
Sure. So when we first started thinking about this project, we started prototyping from the controller out. We were really interested in creating fast, responsive controls that worked for melee and shooting and our energy mechanic. And so as we were developing that, we then talked about the types of games we liked, and we found ourselves playing a lot of roguelikes. What we liked about that particular style of game was the replayability and the experimentation that occurs. So you have strategic and tactical choices. So all of those things kind of came together, and as we were prototyping it, we thought, well, let's see what people think of this. So we released that trailer that you mentioned for Project Birdseye, and that was met with positive reception. So we're here today with you, thank you, to announce the official name of the game, which is Redacted.
No, it's amazing to see it, and I know we're going to be going through a load of gameplay as well for viewers to be able to check out. But it looks amazing.
So good. I mean, you guys mentioned it there. It sounds like you had a lot of fun making the game, and certainly it's.
You put me on that panel, be like, so your game looks okay. I need you to sell me on it. They're like, it looks amazing.
A wee bit of a departure from the Callisto Protocol and what players might expect from you guys. But as we look at some of the gameplay, can you tell us a bit more about Redacted, and then what can we expect to look forward to?
Sure, absolutely. So again, it's a roguelike style game, and it's focused in a prison. So one of the things that we thought would be really fun was developing the story around what it would be like.
I like the art style. I like the concept. I like that it's a rogue.
When a zombie outbreak occurred in a prison. So not only are there workers at the prison, but there's also inmates. So we thought that was an interesting idea. So we started developing along those lines. And we also included some of those key elements of roguelikes that I mentioned, which are the experiments that we have, which are our upgrades, and the various skills and meta currencies that you can use in-game to really.
It does look like a little Borderlands type of game. Top-down Borderlands.
You mentioned a load of the prisoners. They're called rivals in the game, aren't they? Can you explain to us what rivals are and how that's going to affect the gameplay?
Absolutely. So the idea, again, with the rivals.
I'm assuming the idea with the rivals is that even though you're a prison guard and your prison's under invasion of zombies, you still uphold the law and you're trying to capture the guys who escaped.
Was, hey, you know, there's other people in this prison, so what would they be doing during this outbreak, right? So we thought it would be interesting if there was a race to one escape pod. So not only are you racing against the rivals,
cool,
but you're also having to deal with them. So they can do things like have room modifier attacks where they can slow you down or impede your progress, but you can also counter back to them, and you can use your own environmental control attacks and try to slow them down and impede their progress. Not only that, but then you can also square off against them in one-on-one fights. So think of them as like bosses as you go through the experience. And so not only do you have the challenge of the various monsters within this game, but you also have to deal with these rivals who are trying to escape.
So this is a roguelike extraction game.
Yeah, and you can kind of see their progress along the bottom of the screen on the gameplay, can't you?
Yeah.
And like if they're still standing and what's kind of happening to them.
Absolutely, yeah.
Catch up as well. Nice. I mean, going back a little bit, I understand it's a roguelike, and when I think of that, I think permadeath, but maybe, Ben, you could show us how that's going to be quite a core part of the gameplay in Redacted.
Sure. So this is actually the area where you start when you die and you come back. And on the team, we like to say death is the opportunity to come back stronger.
Nice.
And so, you know, we have our punching bag here. As you can see, these are all our terminals where you buy your permanent upgrades. On the right, we have all of our currencies. The top one is the credits, which is only spendable and remain used inside the game.
Yep.
And then we have our contraband here, which is for our permanent skills. So I can purchase one of these and then equip it on the side. So you actually build your own kind of loadout here, and I can actually buy more slots as I progress as well. So we have about 45 of these across 5 pages. So there's really a lot to dig into here.
Yeah.
That's a lot of different combinations for you to use. What other meta currencies have you got on the right hand? Because we can see them on the right hand side of the screen. What are they, and how do we what do we spend them on?
Yeah, so over here we have the security IDs, which you purchase suits with. And as you can see, we have lots of suits to choose from.
They look so cool.
Hold on. Do the suits do anything? Physical suit. Okay. Each of the suits have a standard, or I'm sorry, there's a standard and there's a little increases on each one. Physical experiment, increase the chance, increase the movement speed. Okay.
Have you got a favorite one?
This is one of my favorite ones, the pilot suit.
Pilot
so
suit, nice.
I'll purchase it now. And then every suit has an initial buff that it gives you. And then also you can go and increase the upgrades to it as well. And so clearing 30 rooms, I'll get to reload my weapon faster.
Okay, sick.
So there's a lot of progression opportunities as well. So if you find like your own particular playstyle that you really like, you can hone in and focus on that and be like, all right, this is how I want to approach the next round.
Exactly, and your skills and your suit and then your guns all play into how that build works out for you.
Ghost Fixer, I can't play that game. There's too many attractive people in it.
So what else do we have? What else do we have here?
So we have 5 melee weapons and 8 ranged weapons, and players can mix and match those any way they like.
I need ugly people
These
in my
are some
games.
of my favorites, the dual blasters.
That look nice.
Yeah, and then once the player escapes for the first time, they'll be able to unlock the upgrades for the weapons as well. So it keeps going, and you can keep going farther, keep getting stronger.
Yeah, and what else is there in the hub for players to get involved with?
So this is where we can transfer currency and also buy things like the first aid station in between levels, which is very, very important. So here, let me purchase the environment control.
Let's get going.
So as Steve was talking about, this is how you attack rivals remotely. So you purchase the upgrades here.
Yeah, because we saw this happen a couple times in the gameplay that we saw a little bit earlier, didn't we?
Yeah, exactly.
Unfortunately, I don't have a PlayStation 5, and I don't really play PC games like that on stream, so darn.
Exactly, and this will slow them down, it'll stop them, it'll do damage. And then once you buy all of them, you get the next tier of it. So you just keep upgrading and upgrading.
Okay, sick. There's on the screen there was something about a combo with the rival attacks. What was that about there?
Yeah, so when you actually do your rival attack, you select the rival, and then you have to you have a limited time to kind of punch in this code.
Sick.
So there's a little bit of a rhythm to it.
Yeah, rhythm game, love that.
Yep.
Okay, sick. That's so cool.
And then the final two we've got are the redaction map and the performance review center. What are those?
Yeah, so the performance review is a summary of your run. So here you can see what experiments you used, how many meta currency elements that you collected, the schematics and the fabrications.
Games like this are fun.
So this is a good way to kind of strategize.
And they're quick games.
See
you can
what
like
you did before and see what you might try.
That's what I like about roguelites. You can do a game. You can do like 1 game, 2 games, and then play through it, and then be done with it. Put it down and come back later.
To do next time. In addition
and
to
you're
that,
progressing
we have,
through it.
The Watcher Log, which actually provides a lot of deep statistics for you. It's fun to kind of min-max and see how you did against the various rivals, which experiments you tend to gravitate towards, and you can see that all here. So it's fun to kind of dig into the statistical element of the game.
It's also where I can see people getting so competitive that's like going like, no, I can get a faster time than you, I can do better with this setup, and see like all that kind of comparison. Like I know like us at the Xbox On team would do that an absolute ton on stream.
How many Stumbaton skills have you got or something?
Yeah, exactly.
No, and then we've got the redaction map.
Yeah, so this ties into kind of the mystery of our game. So here you're going to find out about the rivals. As you go through the game, you're actually going to find these computer rooms. And when you interact with the computer room, you're going to see these dossiers. And as you go through and unredact the information here, you'll actually be gaining positive buffs for yourself. So you're going to be increasing the damage you do against the enemies.
That's cool.
You're going to be creating vulnerabilities for them. And so you'll also be doing all that. And in addition to that, you're going to find out more about the rival.
And they can add more rivals in the game down the road. Cool.
And a little bit of their backstory. So it's a key component to really being able to deal with and handle the rivals.
No, that's awesome. What I do know is we've got a lot more gameplay to check out, because it'd be amazing to see all these different like weapons and upgrades in action, so you can talk us through it.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Let's check out some more gameplay. But honestly, one of the things I love so much about games is when there are so many options for you as a player, and that's what Redacted has for you to progress and improve. So Bex, what do you think as well?
I mean, yeah,
How would you all describe this game in one sentence? A roguelike prison extraction shooter.
I'm really enjoying this kind of like secret element to the dossiers and these rivals, and I really like some of these headings that we've got. There's some interesting topics that I'm excited to explore later. Oh, who's this guy?
All right.
Got a little outline here.
Yeah, so this is a mysterious figure that we call Mr. Green.
He's the warden.
He's a bit of a cleaner, and he's at the prison. We don't know why. Hopefully players are going to find out. But he'll be interacting with you and kind of providing you some insights as you progress through the experience.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I don't want to give away too much,
No.
but Mr. Green is a shadowy figure.
Okay, seems like we can trust him right now, but given all of the rivals and all of the other people that you've told us about so far, I'm not too convinced
I don't know
yet.
if you can ever trust a shadowy figure. That to me is just like, especially one in a prison. That just
I'm assuming the cone, Sarge, is the one how far your damage goes, like how far your gun shoots, and the wider spread as it is. I think that's it.
doesn't seem to work. But because there's so many options of how to play the game, can you kind of run us through some of your favorite builds? I think this is us going up against one of your rivals right now, isn't it?
Yep, absolutely. Like Steve mentioned, we call our upgrade trees experiments.
Yeah.
And so we have a total of 115 of those in the game, split up against across 7 categories. A couple of my favorites are the biotech, and mixing that with the electricity or the energy build. Speeds up rates of fire, and then biotech has a great skill called Rot, which enables enemies to explode on death.
Nah.
Yeah, I think here. I'm assuming, well, it goes farther than that. So I don't know. The laser is going farther, but oh no, it stops there. It stops there. It's just the angle that we're at. Yeah, that's it. So that's your length of shot. That's the spread of the shot. And I would assume that's the damage. So the closer it up, I guess you would do more damage in the farther spot. I mean, they're not explaining it, but that's what I would assume it is.
Nice.
So you can see we're using it right here on his main fire.
Oh, cool. I love an area of effect. That's always helpful.
Yeah, there's also like constant combination of using melee and ranged attacks, isn't there, throughout the gameplay?
There is, and since you don't get to choose which upgrades you get to pick every time, you'll find yourself exploring and finding new ones that you
maybe it's to help you, just to figure out which direction you're pointing.
Weren't expecting to turn out to be really fun. And so we've had a lot of people start to play different ways just because they stumbled on a really fun build.
Yeah, it's always going to be one of the funny bits. It's like, you're going to go, no, I'm going to go use these guns because this is what I want to use. I love them. And then you'll be like, wait, no, that's like the most powerful melee weapon in the game. I'm just going to go melee build or something.
Yeah, see, there's no cone. There's no cone for a melee weapon. It's only for guns.
Like that.
Yep.
So I wonder if you get a sniper rifle if the cone elongates.
Like it. So Ben, yeah, you're much more of a corrosive kind of area of effect and rapid fire build. I like that. That's
Absolutely.
cool. I'd probably go for something like that over like a strength build or like a close combat kind of build or whatever. What do you think you would do?
See, I've always been, right, I was like, keep a distance. Like,
Yeah.
I played as like, yeah, no, I was always like an assault rifle player and like FPSs. I was like, kind of keep a distance, kind of like kite people. But one thing I want to point out here is there is a glowing corpse which you see throughout the game. They pop up in certain locations. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so that's actually your last corpse, exactly where you died on your last run. And he has the exact same build you do. So at the end, once combat's over, you can choose to fight him and get back one of your skills, but at an increased power level. So, but it's always risky, right?
That's
because
cool.
if you had a really good build before, it might be a hard fight to win. So you got to kind of pick and choose your battles. But it is a way for you to get something back that you had on your last run that you really liked.
Yeah.
No, I can just imagine though. I just Bex is never
That's a
going to
cool
see the glowing
mechanic.
corpse.
So your guy dies, it stays on the board, and you can pick him up and then fight him because he'll be a zombie.
Said to me. Oh, thanks, Penny. I mean, yeah, the glowing corpse sounds great. I love that element of, it's almost like Soulsy. You get that reward for going back to the same place, and especially in roguelike atmosphere. I love that as well. I mean, we're seeing so many sick-looking visuals here. I can notice some.
And you can see where you are. If you look at the very bottom here, this is the race, right? So there's different stages, and then you're racing, so you can see how far along they are going through the prison as well.
Some of the symbols from your game's Callisto Protocol, and lots of this new art style that we can enjoy as well. They're eyeballs, which is great. But what was your philosophy behind this, and like, I guess kind of moving away from Callisto Protocol too?
Right, so we wanted to create something that was different and lean into things that we really enjoy. So we're big fans of comic books, graphic novels, and we also wanted to have more of an irreverent, fun tone to this game. So we gravitated towards the style and look that you see in the game. It's a little bit more vibrant, colorful.
It's gorgeous.
And it allowed us to really experiment and play around with the variety of enemies. I think we have over 34 enemies in the game. So we really wanted to just kind of go all out with the colors and everything. So that really worked well for us, and we think it definitely looks different than the previous game. And the other thing that we really liked about this particular game this time was we partnered with a group called Mutato Musica.
Okay.
And we wanted to create our own unique music for the game. So we came up with this idea for future punk. So the soundtrack is kind of got this arcadey punk kind of vibe going on. And we really enjoy it, so we're pretty excited about that.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, no, Future Punk is definitely something I think I could get into as well, and I love the art
Redacted.
style.
I can't tell you, Jones. It's redacted. Okay, no matter what you ask me, I can't tell you the name of the game because it's redacted.
But Ben and Steve, like, big thank you for joining as well. But if you've got any last words for everyone watching about Redacted?
Well, we hope everyone enjoys playing it as much as we enjoyed making it. The team had a great time doing that.
Yeah, and I'd like to say thank you very much for allowing us to reveal the game name today with you. And I want to thank the team at Striking Distance for all the wonderful work they did for this project. Thank you.
Heck yeah. I mean, yeah, thank you for letting us be included in this honor as well. We'll definitely be watching out for more Redacted. I cannot wait to get my hands on it when it comes out on October 31st. Very scary.
Oh,
pre-orders are open right now. So coming up, we've got a sim that is unlike any other sim we've seen before. But first, fans of the first Descendant have been not so patiently waiting for more.
Here's the new character.
We managed to fend off our enemy's large-scale attack, but the war is far from over. The Colossus still threatens us, and our enemies are plotting new strategies. Can Ingress ever find true peace? Has Corel really given up on the war? After Corel's fleet disappeared, the Vulgus began moving from deep within the dungeon to raid the Ancestors' facilities in Ingress and reclaim the outpost. Detecting this, Ingress immediately dispatched a scout. That scout's name is Haley.
Oh, God, I can't play this game. She's too good looking. Too good looking. Can't play. I need ugly people to play my games now.
Haley, who rose from a supply soldier
I don't want good looking characters anymore. Cool looking characters.
in the guerrilla unit to a legendary sniper, is now a newcomer in the Descendant Corps. Ruthlessly eliminating enemies with her anti-material sniper rifle, she dominates battles with her ability to drop her body temperature and emit cold air when her emotions
So she's an ice bitch. Got it.
run high. When shooting from a distance, her weapon's critical hit multiplier increases, making her an excellent fit for sniper rifles. She possesses sub-zero bullets that fire multiple shots in an instant, and a storm snare that pushes back and rapidly cools down enemies in front. Above all, Haley's specialty is switching to her anti-material sniper rifle and firing a single, incredibly powerful shot, stronger than any other attack. In Season 1, the Vulgus launches a new strategy, the Invasion.
Is there a new map? No.
Invasions occur randomly in 2 dungeons of the hard difficulty infiltration operations. Players can choose to enter between the existing operations or the invasions. Invasion dungeons are only available for solo play, testing the strength of the
That's nice. That's nice for those solo players.
Descendants. 3 Vulgus legions will block the Descendants with different defense mechanisms. The quantum field creates an immortal state, impervious to physical attacks. The resonance shatterers cause massive explosions with the energies of RK and the Iron Heart. The Keeper Tile encryption device maintains a powerful security system. Invasion dungeons present new mechanics that disrupt the Descendants' operations. Solve these enemies' mechanisms and swiftly eliminate them. Invasion dungeons are designed for speed runs, and the faster you clear them, the greater the rewards that await. After coming in contact with the Iron Heart, Descendants experience an RK resonance phenomenon. This resonance grants the Descendants new powers. It's the season growth inversion reinforcement. Inversion reinforcement is a new growth system that resets at the start of each season. It includes 5 types: hunting, attributes, recovery, survival, and seasons. Through the inversion reinforcement, Descendants gain beneficial effects for progressing through seasonal content, and can also obtain effects that compensate for their weakness. Each season, we plan to tailor and replace the inversion reinforcement effects, providing effects that perfectly fit the seasonal content. In addition to a new Descendant,
I love how they switch, like, check this out.
No content.
Ultimate Freya.
In addition to a new
That's the first shot. That is the first shot.
Descendant. A new Ultimate Descendant will be introduced in Season 1. Ultimate Freyna, who has evolved RK's toxicity into a more powerful weapon, will make her debut. In Season 1, you can discover Freyna's exclusive story and uncover the tale behind the name of her skill.
I liked Bunny's story. It was good. It wasn't great.
Room Zero Trauma. Excava is an assault rifle with powerful versatility. It can be obtained through the Battle Pass and is also available as a free reward. Excava charges voltage when attacking enemies and has a unique effect of firing the charged voltage as an energy grenade. It is a versatile weapon that combines the inherent versatility of an assault rifle with a powerful shot. Frost Watcher is a scout rifle that can be farmed through the Season 1 content. When hitting enemies from long range, it reduces chill resistance and enhances the damage of one's chill skills, making it a perfect fit for Viessa and Haley.
There's a lot to this.
You've prepared a new Descendant, ultimate weapon, and inversion growth. It is now time to face the most powerful Colossus, Deathstalker. Deathstalker lurks in the darkness of the void, targeting the life of Descendants. It is stronger than any Colossus encountered so far. To protect Albion from the threat of Deathstalker, we must once again venture into the void, unravel the mysteries within the darkness, and intercept Deathstalker. The first Descendants first season begins on August 29th with Haley, a new Descendant, Ultimate Freyna, and the new Ultimate Weapons. New episodes, dungeon content, and void intercept battles await you in Albion, Descendants. The first Descendant, Season 1 Invasion. Play for free.
A lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. We're going to skip that. We're going to skip the game Date Everything, okay? Okay, we're not going to watch Date Everything. God, that... Yeah, I don't care. That's a long segment for Date Everything. Dear Lord.
Revenge against his enemies.
And join new planes to join Microsoft Flight Simulator. Then it's back down to Earth with the latest updates coming to Fallout 76. But now it's time to don the role of Khazan as he survives exile, waves of Imperial forces, and relearns the forgotten skills of battle that once helped him save an empire. Check out this deep dive into the first berserker, Khazan.
Huzzah!
General.
This is why I don't watch it live, all turns, so that way I can skip shit I don't want to see.
General Khazan, who once saved the Empire from the Dragonkin, survives against all odds while being exiled under the false accusation of treason. he embarks on an adventure to uncover the truth behind his downfall and seek revenge against his enemies. Khazan's battles emphasizes hardcore action, while they feature various combat mechanics. The core principle is see and respond. We've put significant effort into creating precise and vivid combat experiences based on this concept. Essentially, we designed the game so that the players can observe and decide their actions, providing clear feedback for each decision. Combat moments are primarily divided into two phases: the monster's attack turn and Khazan's attack turn.
So this is another Souls-like?
We aim to make every moment enjoyable. To achieve this, we included various ways to respond to monster attacks. Players can exploit openings to attack or choose to defend, or evade when necessary.
Okay, it's not just boss
Techniques
fights.
like just guard
It's not
and
just boss fights,
evade,
okay.
which requires precise timing, are also available. There is no single correct answer. Players can experiment with multiple methods. Your unique combat style will develop based on your choices, ensuring that this process...
I like how when you're hitting, the blood splatters on the snow and stays there, and also the cuts stay on the bodies.
...process effectively leads to defeating your enemies. Preemptive strikes are a key strategy for tackling powerful enemies with
right
ease.
right in the ass.
When initiating a battle with a brutal attack from behind, Khazan can gain numerous attack opportunities, limited only by his stamina.
This looks pretty
Both
pretty
Khazan
good.
and his enemies have stamina, and once depleted, they become exhausted until it recovers. In this state, significant damage can be inflicted not only on Khazan, but also on his enemies. Therefore, managing stamina is crucial. Good management can create advantageous situations, while poor management can lead to serious danger. In battles against strong enemies, including boss fights, using stamina strategically is particularly crucial. Inducing stamina consumption or successfully landing high stamina damage attacks to cause exhaustion is...
He just... that was pretty badass. He picks him up, does a spin, and puts him on his chest, and then body slam, like literally body slams him. Watch this.
Successfully landing high stamina damage.
Look at this. He picks him up.
Attacks.
You're underneath him, and he just does a belly flop right in the snow.
To cause exhaustion is key. Once in an exhausted state, dealing maximum damage through various methods becomes...
This fucking abominable snowman watches some WWE.
...the core strategy for overcoming bosses. Additionally, targeting and destroying weak points can inflict significant damage and provide extra attack opportunities. Khazan is a skilled warrior who can proficiently wield various weapons, allowing you to experience different combat styles that maximizes each weapon's advantages. Currently, Khazan is equipped with a spear. Although its attack power is somewhat lower, it features long reach, wide range, and impressive combo attacks, making it particularly advantageous in stamina-based combat. This weapon excels at efficiently draining the enemy's stamina and delivering additional damage to exhausted enemies through various methods and combos.
It's from the guy who hates Souls. Oh. I thought you meant the guy who made this hates Souls games. I was like, well, that's pretty weird.
The Great Sword is another weapon Khazan can wield. It offers the option to charge most actions, favoring slow but exhilarating and powerful strikes. This weapon excels in solid guarding and counterattacks, enabling a satisfying playstyle that can crush enemies before even engaging in stamina battles. Khazan is an action game that focuses on the fun of character development. As you progress, you'll acquire items and skills, evolving your combat from careful and strategic to powerful and exhilarating. Khazan's journey of revenge is about to begin.
The
Don't
guy
miss out on the
talking is a little
chance
bit
to
of
experience the hardcore
monotone.
action of the first berserker, Khazan, in the technical closed beta test. starting on October 11th. Xbox players can join to the Insider program.
That's good, though. What else we got here?
Hey York, it's great to see you. I'm gutted that I'm not seeing
You guys care about
in
Flight
person,
Sim?
but I hear that you're in Seattle.
Yes, it's like the first time in at least 4 or 5 years that I'm not going to make it to Gamescom in person, which is a huge bummer because I love the show, I love the people, I love the vibe, the gamers. So yeah, but plus we always have a community event where we meet with the hardest core Flight Sim enthusiasts. But honestly, we're 13 weeks away from the launch of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024.
Look at all the flight sims he's got behind him.
And, there's almost so much to do to make sure that everything is perfect that I'm just going to have to stay home and work on the new set.
How are you feeling coming up to launch? Because as you said, it's only 13 weeks away.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. I mean, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 or MSFS24 as we now call it, it is the biggest undertaking ever in flight simulation.
We'll watch this. We'll watch Fallout 76. And there's like 2 more after that.
The most sophisticated flight model, the best physics we've ever done. The digital twin is taking leaps forward. This time we added seasons, worldwide ship traffic, worldwide oil rigs, heliports, glider airports.
Here's what I want to know about Flight Sim. When I played Flight Sim, I wanted a career mode. I wanted a place like I could open up a business and like make my own airlines and whatnot. There was like no game. It's just fly, right? Which I get. But I think there should be like a career mode. In this, there's like jobs that you do. But I don't think I think it's just scenarios like, oh, you want to be a firefighter, then you do this mission. I want a career. Like I want to open airport. Like in American Truck Simulator, I could buy a fleet of trucks and run and hire NPCs to run the trucks. I want to fly the plane. I also want to run my own airline company and then make money, advertise, put people on the plane. Like that's what I want from a flight sim. But I don't think that's what they're doing.
It's massive, and in MSFS 24, it's the first time that you can exit the aircraft and walk around. So we added tons of detail everywhere on Earth. So it's just huge. And on top of that, we've added an all-new career system where you can pick from dozens of authentic aviation activities in a career.
I hope he says more about this because I feel like it's just scenarios.
And that
called careers.
That's a completely new dimension to the sim. And so you can be like a firefighter or a firefighter pilot or a cargo pilot or a crop duster pilot or just a passenger airliner pilot. And on top of that.
Okay. Are they scenarios or an actual career?
We added short burst activities like low altitude challenges, landing challenges. Just if you have a little bit of time, you can have fun in Flight Sim.
That is an insane amount of content. I also love the landing challenges. I once somehow managed to get 1 point on them, but the Xbox One team will laugh at me for it. But they are so much fun to do. But you may not be in Cologne in person this year, but I know you are very keen to share some goodies with the community. Can you tell us what?
Yeah, it's actually one of my greatest joys every year to come to Cologne and to bring something to the community that has local relevance. So I don't know if you remember last year, we did EDDK, which is the Cologne-Bonn airport, and we launched that alongside some European cities and a German plane called the DoX, big flying boat. The year before, we had City Update 1, where we actually had scanned the city of Cologne and Bonn and Düsseldorf.
Are you talking about... What's Rebel Galaxy, Jones? You talk about wasn't it called Galaxy something? You're talking about that 8 megapixel or the megapixel one, right? The 8-bit one. Is that what you're talking about?
Dortmund and Hanover, so really local cities. And we had launched the Junkers F-13, the first all-metal airliner in the world. And this year we went all in. So I'm happy to announce we're launching World Update 18, which is the DACH region, so Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. And we have assembled a huge amount of data for this. So we are launching all new aerials. So these are basically the satellite and aerial imagery that we use for textures of the landscape. And we're actually using the ones that we're going to launch in the next simulator.
I don't think I've ever heard of it. Rebel Galaxy?
But we wanted to give a preview to the community. And then we have all new digital elevation maps. They're called DEM. And on the top of that, we have photogrammetry cities. So these are the 3D cities that are shown in Flight Simulator. And we have Frankfurt am Main, so Hanau. And then we have Berlin, Potsdam and Karo, so sort of northeast. And then in Austria, we have Linz, Vienna, and Salzburg.
Oh, I remember that
And
game.
in
I didn't play
Switzerland, we
it,
have
but I remember
Bern
it.
and Zurich. And on top of that, we have 116, which we call POIs, or places of interest, or points of interest, so famous places. And we made 9 more new missions that showcase.
I'll
sort of
try
the
it out,
environment
Travis.
in
It's
the
on
region.
Game Pass.
It's one of the biggest updates we've ever done, and I can't wait to share it with the community.
And we've got a trailer, don't we, for everyone to check out? All right, let's take a look.
2.5 petabytes of information streaming to your Xbox. Oh yeah, I've done that too, Dolphin. They've done a really good job. You could see certain things are not. Let me back up for a second. Like this tower here is not in very good shape. A couple things are, but for the most part, they look very, very crisp from a far distance. You get close, they get really muddy. But like stuff like this, they really put the detail into. My son's looking forward to this. Yeah, no, I don't know what the DLC cost. Travis, I didn't look it up.
That actually looked stunning. There's so many amazing places to check out. But I know your team does an incredible job with these world updates, and I hear this one hit close to home for you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I'm so proud that we can basically bring regions of the planets to life with these.
That's crazy, Ghost Fixer.
This particular one, I don't know if you know this, but I was actually born in Frankfurt, and I, as a little kid, grew up in Heinstadt, which is near the area. And then my mom comes from Darmstadt. My brother lives in Buchschlag. So when we got the new data, I immediately.
Yeah, you guys have to remember, like when you fly in this game, if I want to fly from, Florida to California, it takes real time to fly there. It's a 1-to-1 shot of the world.
And the segment looked at it, and I found the house I grew up in, the kindergarten I went to. I was like, and then here's the house my mom grew up in. My brother lives over there, so it's super cool, and it's amazing always when I see how accurate everything is.
Yeah, and I can imagine when you can now that you can go walk around as well with the new update, it's like you can really get into that like nitty bitty detail.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it never ceases to amaze me. And we call that the digital twin. The whole goal is that we have a real one-on-one representation of the entire Earth. And, you know, the world, I always say the world is full of sensors. So there's sensors on satellites and aircraft.
I put it on
phones, your cars,
cruise control
we
and
get
take a
all this
nap.
data, and we can feed that back into the sim. So it's getting better and better over time, which is just so cool.
Yeah, and now that we've seen the world update, can we expect a new aircraft to go with it?
Always, you know, we call those local legends. So when we do a world update, we try to basically highlight important things in the history of aviation relative to that region. So for Germany, we did a few already. We did 2 Junkers and 2 Dorniers. And today, I'm very proud.
Someone added the Warthog inside of Starfield
To announce a
Of course
very
they did.
special plane from Bremen called the Focke-Wulf 200 Condor. And it was first flown in 1937. And at the time, it was the most sophisticated airliner in the world. And we have a trailer.
I feel like this is a video you would show at like a museum. It all started in 1927. The world was a different place. It used to soar. I feel like Morgan Freeman should comment here.
That was actually amazing. I have never seen that plane before in my entire life, but can you unpack its significance for it being included in Microsoft Flight Sim?
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it's not at all surprising because the plane, you know, it came out in 1937.
Oh,
and
damn it.
It was a civilian plane.
37.
It
I said
made a
27.
famous flight from Berlin to New York. That was the goal, to have passengers in one go fly over the Atlantic. At the time, typically people flew in seaplanes and they had to take several stops. So this was the first one. And the reason why it could do that is it was very light for its size. It was only 17 tons and it had they had 4 great engines, lots of tanks, and it flew much higher than everybody else did. So typically planes at the time flew 1,500 meters altitude. This one flew 3,000. So you could go, the air is thinner, less resistant, so you can go much further. So it was a major step forward. However, you know, obviously the war came, and then the plane unfortunately just disappeared from the skies. But there's a really interesting story. In 1988, they actually found.
Yeah, they've said for the last couple of days, Stealth, that it was on.
They found a wreckage near Trondheim in Norway. They raised it. Took 11 years till 1999, and it was not in good shape. Let's put it this way. And then there was a group of volunteers. They call themselves the Condorians, that basically rebuilt the entire plane from scratch, basically, based on the pieces they found. And that was completed in 2021. And that plane is now visitable. You can see it in a museum in Berlin. And I had followed that story. I called the museum. They allowed us to do a scan. And then we typically try to give something back, right, when we do these collaborations with museums. So I asked them, is there anything we can do to help you guys? And they said, hey, Jörg, you know, there is a Swiss collector who spent his entire life collecting all the instruments for the Condor, and he had sort of built in his house a dashboard of the Condor. But the man was at a point in his life where he wanted to part with his collection. So Microsoft actually bought the collection from the collector, gave it to the museum in Berlin, and they integrated it into the Condor. So
very cool.
We call it digital preservation, what we do in flight sim, right? And when we can connect that to the real world, where people do the real world preservation of planes, it's just one of the most awesome things.
Who cares about history?
For us.
And those of you that don't know, I'm being sarcastic. I love history.
No, it's amazing that people are going to get to play that in game as well, and it really is art imitating life. But thank you so much for joining us. I know you're really busy, kind of getting the last bits for the update together, but you've got one cool announcement for everyone, don't you?
Yes. So World Update 18, the one we just talked about, is available right now. So the sky is calling. Go check it out in
15
Microsoft
gigabytes.
Flight
No, I'm
Simulator
saying
today.
15,000 gigabytes to download.
No, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 is releasing on November 19th.
And that's also going to be available on Xbox Game Pass and Xbox Game Pass for PC. So everyone get their hands on it. But Jorg, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you here next year in Cologne.
I will be there next year. Thank you so much. It's good to see you.
Thanks for talking to us. See ya.
This is not Little Nightmares. We're going to fast forward through this. I don't care about this. I want to hear what...
On top of all that feedback,
Fallout 76.
And also Bethesda as a whole is community involvement and the impact that they actually have on yourselves, if that's fair to say. Can you tell me a little bit more about what that impacts your development timeline from the community involvement?
Sure, yeah.
You could try, Jason. You could try.
I've said it before. Bethesda Game Studios has the best community in gaming. They're so great at giving feedback, saying what's not working, saying what they'd like to see. So the team always makes sure to stay on top of all that feedback, whether it's on Reddit or Discord or whatnot. And what we do is we kind of boil it down to large strokes, bigger trends, right? And what features can we make to satisfy these things that players want, and how do they fit across a timeline while satisfying our builders and our adventurers alike.
Nice. I mean, you mentioned Reddit just there, and I'm really curious how you actually use those sites or maybe other corners of the internet to actually take the feedback from the community and then put that in the game. What does that look like for you and the team?
Well, I'd like to outline some sort of really cryptic process, but it's really just me on my phone going down the posts and remembering, oh yeah, somebody said that. But you know, it's more than just reading the feedback. It's also being able to look at that feedback through the lens of a player. So
we're about halfway through the story. We haven't finished it yet.
I, speaking for myself, have multiple high-level characters I've gone through the game with to try different things. Multiple new characters fresh out of the vault to try different things. So looking at that feedback that we get from players through the lens of players ourselves and kind of trusting ourselves to make the right choices for the game.
Nice. Showing off with quite a few high-level characters there. I see you.
And by the way, I made those myself. I wasn't giving them. Thank you.
No, that's very good. We were chatting before about one of your latest characters, your ventures. Care to tell us or share with the viewers about the captain?
Oh yes, the latest character sometimes shows up on the socials, and that's Captain Nuke McCloud.
Nice.
And Captain Nuke McCloud lives up to his name and loves to drop nukes. So we get the community together, and they follow me around while I drop nukes, and we just have a lot of fun.
I'll stay out of the way of those servers. That's avoid the nukes.
Yep.
What is the reaction from the community that you see when you do take those comments, that feedback, and actually put it in the game? What's it like seeing the reaction to those?
Are they announcing something new for this, or are you just talking about the DLC
it's
that already came out?
The feedback that we kind of get over time, right? Because it's not so much taking a specific thing like I want a neon green wig or something like that. It's looking at, hey, I'm looking for more things to do at the end of the game. I want more challenging experiences. So as those features kind of come out further down the road, we see that positivity from players reflected back at us through comments and feedback.
That's really cool. I mean, yeah, I love some character creator options as well. So maybe a neon green wig would be great, but that can wait as well. We've got plenty to do in Skyline Valley at the moment as well. And with that came the first new map expansion for the base.
All right, I'm not going to watch this because I already know all this stuff. Let's see Planet Coaster 2.
When I walk outside with my head in the clouds, everywhere I go, I keep singing out. Good day. I'm gonna sing all my blues away. Everything's alright when I got you by my side. It's gonna be a good day. Sing it.
If you have ever dreamed about making a theme park in any way, shape, or form, or love games like this, Planet Coaster is phenomenal. Phenomenal. The most detailed thing you can ever do.
Good day.
Hi, I'm Rich Newbold, Game Director at Frontier Developments. I hope you enjoyed the trailer for Planet Coaster 2. I'm here to show you a bit more about the game. Let's dive in. Planet Coaster is a creative management simulation game where players can build their dream coaster park, manage that park, and then share their creations with others. In Planet Coaster 2, we have new water park features.
Oh,
We have
this whole
deeper
video
creativity,
gets
new
cleaned every single
management
day.
tools, and the possibility of building a park with a friend, one player at a time, by sharing a save.
I mean, I
celebrate
don't know,
our new
Altern.
water park features and new
I mean, to be
creative
fair, we didn't
tools,
watch
we're
it,
going to
but-
be adding a new flume
No.
to this pool area of our park for our guests to enjoy.
You watch,
We're gonna be
you
doing
watch
that
date
by
everything.
going
You
down
let
to
me
our
know how it
flume
is.
Section, and we're going to be adding a brand new flume. We have a number of different flumes or slides that you'll be able to build in the game, one of which will be our body flume, which is what we're going to place in our pool area. Before we build the flume itself, we're going to need to build a flume platform for our guests to enter the flume from. So we're going to build our platform, and then we have a number of different start pieces that will our guests will use to enter the flume. We have our kind of standard open flume piece, as well as different special types of pieces. We have a flume vertical start piece for our guests to enjoy, which is a trapdoor piece where our guests will get in, and then the trapdoor will open up and they will drop through into the flume. As we're building our flumes, we can see that
I
our
love how it
test
just-
dummy is
yeah,
coming
just
as well.
leave it
will
there.
follow
That'd be
the
great.
flume pieces as we're adding them, and then give us the excitement, fear, and nausea rating of our flume, and then give us feedback on whether this is going to be an enjoyable experience for our guests. And for this flume, we have a number of different flume pieces. We have open pieces and we have enclosed pieces. So we're going to add an enclosed piece to this flume. We also have different types of pieces, one of which is our transparent piece. So we're going to add a transparent piece to our flume so we can see our guests as they come
There's
down
no way
these
you're going to
flumes
slide through that
to
whole
enjoy.
thing. It's
We
not going
also
to work.
have a number
You're
of
not high
end
enough.
pieces that you can put on your flume, including run-out lanes. But for the end of this body flume, I think we'll be adding one of our plug hole pieces, which is one of our special end pieces. So we're going to place that down, and now that's in
make
place,
it?
we're going to
Oh,
edit
he
the
makes
way
it,
that
okay.
our flume looks. So we can go to our customization tab and change the different color options on our flumes. Flumes in real life have a very striking stripy pattern, and what we can do here is adjust the colors of each one of those segments on our flume. So we can change our flume special pieces and start pieces to be a nice green for our guests to enjoy. We can change the color of our second segment of our flume to be a complementary green. Change this purple area to be yellow. And then finally change the last segment of this flume to be
You could literally just
a nice black as
explore
well.
other people's parks, and that'll be a full-time YouTube channel.
At the moment, our flume does look good, but I think we can make it even better and more attractive for our guests by adding scenery to the platform around it. So let's add a few rubber rings to really make it thematic to the experience that our guests will be having as they enjoy this flume. Now that's in place, we need to add an entrance to our flume for our guests to get onto the
I mean,
platform.
the best
So we're gonna add
maintained one that
our
I've been
flume
to,
stairpiece
obviously,
so
back
that
in
our
the day
guests
was
can get
Disney.
up onto the platform and
But
enjoy the flume.
I think one of the best ones I've ever been to, just as memories and stuff like that, was Six Flags over Georgia. Just because of the people I was with and stuff. I think theme parks are you have a good time with theme parks based on the people you're with.
And there we go. Our flume is finished and looking good and ready for our guests to enjoy. Flumes are one of the many amazing new attractions that you can build in Planet Coaster 2 that allow you to make a park that is truly unique and yours. If you like this video, Planet Coaster 2 is now available for wishlisting. Thank you for joining me. Goodbye.
When does it come out? 2025. Oh, coming fall, 2024. Okay.
Hello, I'm Mike Laidlaw, Chief Creative Officer at Yellow Brick Games. And welcome to the world of Eternal Strands, a new fantasy action adventure game where the world around you is your weapon. In Eternal Strands, you will embark on your journey as a young, magic-wielding weaver named Bryn. She seeks to unravel the secrets of the Enclave, a once
Another game I can't
thriving
play.
center of magic
Protagonist
now
looks
left in
too good.
ruins. At your base camp, you'll forge bonds with members of your Weaver Band, who will support you in your expeditions with their various skills.
You've worked hard for this, and I have faith in you.
Select your next quest and customize your gear before venturing out through the Loom Gate on your way to discover the fate of these shattered lands. In the Enclave, you can climb and interact with nearly everything you see. The mantle, the magical cloak on your back, grants you control over frost, flame, and kinetic magic. Combine these elements in creative ways to manipulate the environment to your advantage and defeat your foes. But the Enclave's foes come in all sizes. Behold, an Ark. This colossal 25-meter construct wields immense power.
Is she really ready to fight that thing?
That's cool.
Pick your battles. Rather than risking your loot,
I don't know why you
return
would
to
climb
base
on
camp.
its front. You would climb on its back, but all right.
A day has passed. Reforge your gear with your hard-earned resources to even the odds against the mighty epics. No two battles are the same.
This seems interesting.
As epics roam freely between maps, and extreme weather alters the battlefield in this true physics playground. Harvesting strands from these formidable adversaries allows you to weave new abilities into your mantle.
I like that. That's Mega Man. You know what I mean? Take the powers from the things you beat.
With new powers at your command, and the world as your weapon, you hold the key to uncovering the mysteries of the Enclave. Take up the mantle in Eternal Strands.
What the hell is this? Void Train. Okay. It's on Xbox Game Pass, and it's on the preview program later this year.
You just got a deep dive into the gameplay of Eternal Strands and Look a Void Train, which is coming to Game Pass early next year, so get ready. But first, it seems like only yesterday...
All right, this is the last thing we're going to watch
enjoying
today.
the first TowerBorne demo. Now, a year later, the game is nearly ready for prime time. Joining me now with more is Stoic CEO and President Tricia Scoffer, Game Director Daniel McLaren, and Co-Founder and Chief Creative Officer Arnie Jorgensen. So, how is everything going at Gamescom, Tricia?
It's fantastic. We're
I'll be
so
right back.
excited
I'll
to
be right back.
The crowd has been exceptional.
as always. And the booth's been full, and players are just enjoying themselves. A lot of excitement, a lot of smiles on their faces, and we're just happy to always have the game in the hands of the players.
Yeah, it's been amazing at Gamescom this year. So many people, but it's also been a huge week for you guys.
Indeed.
Tell me a bit more about it.
Absolutely. On Tuesday, we announced that we will be on early access on Steam on September 10th.
Yep.
And we're coming to game preview on Xbox and Windows PC in 2025.
So really not that far away as well.
19 days.
And I'm also so excited because we've got a demo that we're going to be playing. But McLaren, for those that haven't seen TowerBorne yet, can you give us the elevator pitch? Why is this game going to be so much fun to play?
Yeah, so it's the quintessential side-scrolling brawler, which you see generally in like a smaller single-player, shorter experience game. We've decided, why not make this a bigger game? Why not put in sweet loot drops? Why not let your friends play together, collect cool stuff, and kill bigger enemies, and then brag about it? So that's basically what we built.
It's what we all love to do as well.
Yeah.
And it's one of the reasons I'm so excited to hop into this demo as well, because I got to play it here last year, and honestly, love these type of games like World of Warcraft I brought up on, but going into TowerBorne, I'm a little bit competitive, and we've also got 3 different characters on screen. So I think, Arnie, if you can kind of talk us through what each of us can do, the different abilities that we've got.
Sure. So everyone just kind of mess around on this first screen before we get too deep. But we're going to be going to early access with 4 different classes. Here we see the Shadow Striker. She's got dual daggers, and she can move about the screen really quickly and do high damage. Then we also have the Sentinel with the sword and shield. He can block, and he can also parry. So if done at the correct time, you raise your shield, bang, they become dizzy. And then we got the Pyro class here with the War Club. Big, slow, heavy damager that can fight through damage. So that's the 3 that we've got right here. We're not showing off the Rock Breakers, which, oh, I'm sorry.
No,
that's not daggers. That's the Rock Breakers with the giant clubs.
I know, this is the thing.
What we're not showing is the dual daggers. That's right, the Shadow Striker. I'm sorry.
No, I'm actually quite excited because I have seen Trisha use the fists before, right? And I was like, she was doing a lot of damage, so I was like, that's what I'm playing as. So I've also got is it an ombre above me? Is it
an umbra?
An umbra.
An umbra. So how does that work?
So the umbra is part of your loadout. We're going to be launching with about 9 different umbra and then adding them as we go through early access. But all the different umbra give you different abilities. Some could do damage, some could do healing. So we see 3 different umbra here today, and we'll see what they do.
Well, I'm quite excited. And how do I trigger? Is that with my right trigger?
That's with your right trigger. Now, if you press your right bumper, that's when you're going to do this massive damage punch.
Oh. Okay. So I don't want to use that. So that's the little thing on the bottom of the screen.
I'm muted.
And you can kind of see the bar.
Is it co-op, 3-player, 4-player, or just 3-player? And second question, is it co-op on same screen or multiplayer or both?
Turn blue. If you hold your left trigger and hit your light attack or your heavy attack, it will do one of 2 special abilities and consume one of those pips.
Okay, nice. All right, should we go forward to our first fight? Right, I'm kind of just.
Good luck, man.
All right, I'm going in first. It's not because I'm trying to do the most damage, I promise.
There's a lot of different things to remember for each class, but for now, just have fun playing. You'll learn the class over the hours of playtime.
And there's like combos, isn't there, that you can do? So you kind of want to set it up to do the most. And
that's right.
The little bar on the bottom. How do I get that to charge faster?
Just by hitting things, or by completing combos. By completing combos, it's going to fill up much faster, and that's your weapon meter.
How do I know my combos? Is it just like mixing up like fast and heavy attacks, or?
Yeah, it's a combination.
You said this is coming to Xbox Preview, right?
It's a 4-button combo.
And it's also coming to Steam?
So any combination of those 4 buttons will do different things. And if you hold down X, you can launch enemies into the air, get up there and do some aerials. Ooh, nice, coming in and stealing my kill, Benny. I appreciate that.
I would never do. I'm not a kill thief. I am just getting involved.
Sir. I am. I'm happy to.
Happy to
help that out.
I'm not sure that the people watching here know that there's a friendly rivalry going on right here. We're actually tracking damage done in this, so we can see if Benny can beat Trisha and McLaren.
Don't know what you're on about. Please.
We're going to find out, aren't we?
Oh, no, I've just missed. I've just wasted my combo.
It's a no-lose, McLaren. If you win, you basically be a professional gamer.
Pretty much.
No.
That's the goal here.
I know, you guys are running too far ahead, right? This is Right, there we go. No, I'm good now. Don't worry, I've got my own enemy.
It's been my dream to beat a professional gamer, so...
Hey, can you not steal my damage, please? That's my damage.
Absolutely.
Oh, you've just stopped him getting up.
Yes, sir.
If you hit him early enough, you can whack him pretty quickly.
It does look fun. It does look fun.
How you doing over there, Benny?
I think I'm doing good. I think I've done a lot of damage. I'm hitting my combos.
This is definitely a game I'll play with my son.
I keep wasting my Okay, no.
How you doing?
No, I feel like I'm falling behind.
Man, Trisha's got the best weapon with that spin to win. That's normally my weapon.
Trisha's actually playing McLaren's weapon.
I know, it's so irritating.
But Benny is playing Trisha's. Trisha's really good with the rock breaker.
Maybe you haven't seen my stats on all the weapons yet, but I've played them all. Don't you worry.
All right, hold on. There's a couple more people over here. I'm determined.
Too slow.
Okay, wait. So right now, I'm actually quite low on health. I've taken a lot more damage.
Well, that's
This
okay.
has taken none.
I've got you here. If you come up a bit, there's a healing shrine.
Oh, yes.
And that'll just get everybody refreshed. Because get ready.
So hold on one second.
Hold on. Let's wait a second.
But if you did die...
Right.
Yeah, so the way the death works in this game, when you die, your Umbra's going to come over and it's going to res you. But if you run out
Is this
of
on
lives,
all
then
consoles?
it takes your teammates to res you, and it's oftentimes hard. If they take damage while doing it, then you're dead. But I want to talk really quickly. We've come into this mission for a reason. We're in
To
this
beat
mission
Trisha.
because we
In
got to beat
damage.
Trisha. We heard that we heard that there was a boss in the area. So I think we're on its trail, and we'll see what happens here as we enter the next cave.
Yeah.
Okay. All
ready?
right, here we go. Are you ready? Are you McLaren, are you sure you're ready?
There we go.
Let's go.
Are you sure? All right.
Let's go.
All right, wait. No, I've got. You know where we're going.
There we are.
Oh no. All right, there we go. No, there we go.
From what I'm looking up, it's not on PlayStation.
Now, if you notice, there's a break
It's only
bar
on
at the bottom of
Xbox.
the
So
screen
it's
right under the,
Xbox
help
One,
with the
Xbox
boss.
Series
McLaren,
X,
tell us
Series
a little
S,
bit about that.
and it's on
quintessential
Windows,
break
right?
bar. The minute you
So it's a
break
free-to-play
it,
game, and
it
it's
will
only on
stun the
Xbox, and it's on
boss and allow you to go
Microsoft.
into a
So it is on
punch
Game
phase, and
Pass,
so-
right?
Oh, geez,
I'm
man,
confused
it's always
on
those rocks, always in the face.
what he's upset about.
I know. So now he's in a broken phase. So now you can just do all of your combos, do all of
It
your
is free.
damage.
Why is it on Game Pass? Because they made a contract to put it on Xbox, but inside Game Pass.
I'm going. That's where I'm going.
Get your numbers
Right,
up.
there we go. I need to use my Ombre.
So the people that have consoles,
I don't know why
they can't play it anywhere except for Xbox, and you have to have Game Pass to play it. Or if you have a PC, you can play it on Steam.
We just turned this game into an esport somehow.
All right, come on. No, I got knocked back. Wait, are you dead?
No, not even
Oh,
close.
it took damage. Now I do have to say, this boss has been wrecking people on the show floor.
Yeah, it's been pretty great.
But we've got some people here that have played this game before.
Yeah.
That might be making it look a little easy.
Oh my god, there's so many rocks getting thrown at my head.
Right.
Right, here we go.
Oh,
Right, I
I
need to
messed
time
that
as
up.
well.
Boink. All right. There we go.
This is
no, I've just wasted. No.
This is
The
the
question
type of
is,
fight, as you would expect in any game like
is
this. That
it-
if you beat a boss, you're going to get wicked good gear.
What
You're gonna get, great
what
weapon
tier does it
drops,
come out on
aspect drops,
Game Pass?
Which are gems or mods that you can slot into your equipment. But this is the type
Right?
of fight
Is it
that
core?
you want to go into and get beat because this is where you get the good stuff.
Yep.
Like
I've just
core
done-
and
I've
above,
just done
or whatever.
so
I have no
much
idea.
for us there.
Did you really?
I've just taken out like 10 ads.
Well, we're going
Benny's
to find
carrying
out.
the team. He's carrying the team.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
really is.
free, and they already got
I've
paid.
taken
Yeah,
the
they
rights
made
down
it.
to
It's an
quarter
Xbox
life.
What I
Studio,
found though is I apparently
right?
only get one
It's a
damage
sto-
for every single one of
studio.
these skills. So
That's true.
Which
I've
is an
just put it
Xbox
out
Studio
there that
game.
I'm being a team player.
So it's made.
Yeah.
It's made for
it's not
Xbox,
because
right?
I think I'm behind on the damage curve.
Oh, Jiminy. I rolled right into it, too.
Get good
I think I know
McLaren.
better. Look at that. First death, who does that belong to? I know how to play this game, I
Oh, you might
promise,
wanna
folks.
come-
I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
All right, here we go.
There it is. Unload.
There we go. We got him.
Go. On this phase.
That's it.
Oh,
Don't let him
yeah.
jump,
Let's
don't let him
go. All right. Now the moment of truth.
I don't think we need to take a look at the
I
damage.
think we do.
I don't think you know what we're basing this off? Eliminations. Let
There
me
we
know,
go.
like in the chat, if we should base it off eliminations
Yeah.
or not.
F in chat for Benny.
I don't want to look at my stats.
Here we
So
go.
here we go.
I
Here
don't
we
want to
go.
look.
Damage
Oh,
dealt,
I'm sorry.
26,000,
What's going
21,000,
on?
12,000.
Let's go. That's okay, Benny. You can play again later.
Can we like? Oh,
Is
come
this
on!
correct?
I know there's something wrong. I defeated way more than 9 enemies.
Did you though?
I swear I did.
Did you though?
Well, that's
I played the game once or twice. But hold on a second. So this right here is the combat that we're showing here on the show floor, and we're just pushing right now the combat of TowerBorne. I think is really something special. But the whole game is an RPG. There's a huge map that you move out onto, and you explore tile by tile, just like this, and you uncover through the fog of war different areas of bosses.
That's cool.
Loot chests, ventures, which are our version of dungeons. There's a ton to explore in this RPG, and then you go back to the tower and you get your missions, you go to the forge. What is this saying for TowerBorne?
Yes, that's right. I totally blanked.
Hold on a second.
I was like, you're the one that told me.
I was basking in my success, and I just wasn't listening to anything except that I beat Benny, a pro gamer.
The saying of TowerBorne is,
by the way,
I want to explore the world, and I want to be strong enough to do it.
Next time, I'm going to get some practice in, and
TowerBorne.
I will beat you.
It's right there on the floor.
Yeah, I'm not going to. I'll be there a week. That's not going to be.
We'll do it. You guys join in Zoom, play a game. We'll show it on the site.
Yeah, we'll do it. But one thing I have to say is we're seeing more games go into early access. Why was it so important and specifically to go into Steam for you, Tricia?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Getting the game into players' hands is super important to us. We want to have that the discussion with the community, have them be a part of the game building. It's what Stoic has always done from our very first game.
Same,
and
Dolphin. Same.
Getting there, being able to have that and have the input and take it in. Steam just happens to do that well for us, and we want to make sure we're fully prepared for when we come to game preview next year and have an expansive players, the number of players coming in. We're truly ready for them. We don't want to disappoint.
Honestly, it's been some of the most fun I've had. I've really enjoyed playing it, and I can't wait to go and sit there and then beat you. It will happen. I'm excited for next time.
Anytime, any place.
I don't doubt it.
But thanks so much for stopping by.
Old
But remember,
school gamer
wishlist
talking
right
crap.
now at TowerBorne.com if you want to go and have a go yourself. Now, if that chat has you hyped for TowerBorne, then you'll love what the team has in store. Check out a taste of a new dev diary coming soon.
All right, so that's...
TowerBorne is an action
Okay, still the
RPG online multiplayer game.
We're going to support for many years. It's a living world. Steam Early Access is a great vehicle for us to get started.
My greatest joy in this is going to be sitting here a year from now going, I had no idea that this would go in this direction.
All right, well, we'll talk about it tonight.
And now it's time to...
Okay, so that's it there. So I have a question. Let me go back up and read what you said. Maybe I understood it. Lono is all pissed off that Microsoft delayed. Hold on. Lono is all pissed off that Microsoft delayed this and advertised Game Pass with it on Tuesday when it's free game. I don't agree with him. But I don't understand. Like, it's a Microsoft Studio. Is it not? Like, they own it. TowerBorne is an upcoming free-to-play side-scrolling action-adventure game developed by Stoic and published by Xbox Game Studios. It is scheduled to be released in 2025 for Windows and Xbox Series X and S, with an early access version on September 10th, 2024 for Steam. Okay, so it's owned by Microsoft, right? It's their game. So they're using it and putting it on Game Pass, right? So you're not buying the game. The game is free, right? But they're putting it in Game Pass because it's their first-party title, and you're not buying the game. You're getting Game Pass. You're paying for a subscription of 400 plus games or whatever else the benefits are, and that game is on there, right? Sure, second party, whatever. It's exclusive. It's exclusive for Xbox, which is a game that they're putting on PC and Xbox. So I don't understand. And again, I guess I'll ask him tomorrow at the after show. That I don't really like getting secondhand information, right? Because I want to take it like in context, not out of context. So if they put, I mean, they can put what they want, right? No, it says on online, it says TowerBorne is an upcoming free-to-play side-scrolling, right? And that's not a I mean, I guess it is, because you have to have Game Pass to play this free-to-play game, because it's a game. But there's also games that are on Game Pass that you can pay full price for, right? So you can play the game, but it's on Game Pass. So they just took the game and put it behind Game Pass. Now, again, I don't know. I would have to look at, do the people that have like the lowest tier get that game? I mean, I can see. I guess I'm trying to work through it in my head. I can understand if it's just on Xbox, like Fortnite. You don't need to be online. You don't need to pay online or Game Pass to play Fortnite. Fortnite's just there. It's free to play. I can understand, like, it should be there automatically. It's just that you need an Xbox, right? But if it's not on Xbox, and now they have television sets and they have dongles and they have everything else, they had to put it somewhere so other people can play it as much as possible, right? So they had to put it within Game Pass for people to play. I'm assuming that's why they did what they did. Everybody says, I think Lona has an issue with Xbox keeping announcing games, giving a date, and they keep getting delayed instead of announcing when it's done. Oh, well, I agree with that. I've been giving games crap. It doesn't matter what studio does. They say a date and they delay it, and they never give you the date. They know when these games are done. They know when these games are done. Yet they keep pushing it. I agree with him there as far as that point. See, I don't watch Lono in the mornings, and I don't watch a lot of his stuff after the fact either, right? I just don't. I don't watch a lot of stuff from people, content creators. I go on his show and we'll talk about topics and stuff like that. But when you guys come in and start talking about what he said and that said, you're never going to get me to be like a hot take of like, he said one thing and I disagree with him. I gotta hear it from the source. I gotta hear it from the source, because Telephone is a terrible game. Because the way it's said, the tone it's said, the how it's said is completely different when it comes from the source and when it comes from somebody else. Context is everything. Context is everything. Because if it's about the date, saying a date, and then not hitting that date, I 100% agree with him. Shut up until it's ready. Shut up until it's ready. He's expressed a few times that they keep announcing all these games to get credit, and then they just delay everything. That's fine. I agree with that. Don't say shit about nothing until you know it's actually coming. Already admit that what you're most excited for was Planet Coaster 2. No, not really. I think it's a fantastic game, but that game is very overwhelming, very time consuming. So I'm not the most excited about that. Yeah. I'll be honest. The one we just saw, TowerBorne, I think that would be a fun game to play. Sarge says, you know when it's done. Enough of this bullshit. Yeah. Again, I agree with Lona there. Don't announce a date until you know what the date is. Starfield was supposed to come out 11/11/22. Hard date. They knew it was then, and then it wasn't. Right? The way I look at business in any market, right? Sometimes sometimes you have plans. You have a plan. Okay. Nothing is just black and white. So they look it forward and go, okay, what is 2025? What games do we have in development? What games don't? And this is, again, not for Microsoft. This is for any studio. They look at the chart, right? If they have 10 studios making games, if they have 35 studios making games, they look at it and go, okay, we got 10 studios making video games. 4 of them are almost pretty close. How close are you to release your date? And they're like, oh, we're pretty damn close. We'll need another 6 months. They're like, well, can you push it up 4 months? And they're like, yeah, no, not really. Like, well, you're going to have to push it up 4 months because we need your game to come out in Q1. And they're like, all right. And then they're like, here's the date. This game's coming out Q1 on this date. This is the date it's coming out. And everyone's like, yeah, all right. I'm so excited. Here's the date. And then they're like, yeah, we're going to have to delay it. We know it's a hard thing to tell you. We're so sorry. We're so excited for you to play this game. But we're just making sure that it's polished enough to put its best foot forward, right? And it's all bullshit at that point because they know when it's done. They're pushing stuff forward to get you hyped. Well, console sales are down this thing. This thing's down this week. We got to get our quarter sales up. We got to promote things. What's going to sell this month? What's going to sell this quarter? It's exactly what they do. The company doesn't care about the developers. The company doesn't care about us. The company doesn't care about any of that. All they care about is, when are we going to make money on this? When are we going to make money on this? We start pre-ordering this? Let's pre-order. You want to pre-order? Let's put it out there. You think you can hit 6 months from now? 6 months? All right, we'll delay it 2 months, right? So then we have starting to have conversations of, well, they're delaying it 2 months. Is that enough time to fix the game? The answer is no. No, it's not enough time. Then it comes out. It's a live service game, and it's broke, buggy, unfinished, and we'll fix it down the line. And toss it in the bin. Toss it in the bin. This is directly from Lona. The pattern continues. Another Xbox exclusive delay to 2025. Quit using showcases to create fake roadmaps to keep people on Game Pass. That I can get behind, right? Shut up until you're ready. 100%. Me and Sarge are on record saying we hate roadmaps. We hate dates. Right? So I'm on board. If that's the exact quote, I agree 100% with him. Stop using things to get people hyped up for things and then just let it down because it's delayed, it's broke, gets pushed back 6 months, whatever it is. Stop it. Stop it. I have a question, Nate. How is it delayed when we don't know a date? Perfect run-in here, right? Grand Theft Auto 6 has never announced a date. They've never announced a date. They just said, yeah, we're working on it. So how can it be delayed if they've never given us a date? Yeah, but the reason isn't because he cares about people's falsely paying for Game Pass. He hates it that it inflates their Game Pass numbers and other content creators use it as a flex or shit talk. If that's what he's taking it for, I mean, I agree with him by saying that shut up with the dates. Stop using dates to do that. As far as inflating numbers, every single company inflates their numbers. Every single company inflates their numbers. Not Microsoft, not Sony, everybody. Everybody uses something to inflate their numbers because we, as humans, look at this number's bigger than this number, so this means better, or this means worse, or whatever it is, right? We look at something, we look at something, and if it's an 80% drop, we're like, oh, damn, that's bad, right? Because this number's bigger, but it's the lower number. It's negative 80%, right? You're like, oh. But if it's positive, you're like, oh, man, they're doing fantastic. Right? The question is, if I'm paying for Game Pass right now for Fallout 76 or for Diablo, there's 399 games that are on the platform itself, and there's 399 other reasons that someone might get Game Pass. How is that inflating the number? People might get Game Pass because they want to get Ultimate because they want to play cloud. Maybe they travel and they want to play games like that. Maybe they want to play the bigger games, but they don't want to spend $70. How is that inflating numbers? Right? You have Game Pass because you have Game Pass. Yeah, there's no date for Grand Theft Auto 6. The only way it gets delayed is if December 31st comes out of 2025 and we don't see it yet, and then it goes to 2026, then you can say, oh, it's delayed. Sarge says you're either a Game Pass or you're not. How is that inflated? Right. Every company is going to do everything in the power to create a perception, a bigger number, whether through embellishment, future numbers, omitting other information, or super common. Yeah, companies do it every single weekend at the movies. #1 movie at the box office. Yeah, nothing came out, right? Nothing new came out, but that movie is #1 at the box office. So technically, they're not lying. It's all wordage. Dave Langer says, so let's say Microsoft says, of these 5 games are coming to Game Pass this year, people will stay on Game Pass to get those games. But if Microsoft said they're coming out next year, those people could let their sub run. Sure. But are we treating every single person that has Game Pass as they're a complete moron? Right? Complete moron? Are we supposed to look at everyone and go, you're a moron? No, you're going to look at it and go, yeah, I'm going to keep my Game Pass. It's $20, $15, $10, whatever thing you have. If you want to cancel it, cancel it. Then you can come back. But if you don't care, then it doesn't matter. It's not one game for Game Pass. It's all of this for Game Pass. Well, their argument would be that they're using false roadmaps to make game releases, then delaying the games, and then keeps people paying for Game Pass under false pretenses. But people are going to pay for it regardless anyway, because there's 400 games that they could play. Honestly, I don't really care to look at the tweets and talk about the thing. If it's preview program, that's like an early access build, beta, early access. That's normal standard procedure. Like Starship Troopers or Extermination deleted all my kills and my records and my levels because it was early access, right? So game preview means exactly that. When I played Sea of Thieves, my Sea of Thieves account got started over when the game came out on Game Pass, right? So that's not new. This is things that happen when you're on a preview, early access, beta. You're sometimes when you play a beta, they carry it over to things. Other times they don't. So that to me is not a crux of, oh well, I'm not going to try the preview program because they're going to delete my account. You get to literally play it early, and you have to be part of that preview program. Not everybody on Xbox is part of that preview program. Argus says, keep in mind, argument I made above is not my personal opinion. It's what I believe Lono's view is with the frustration about it. I would have to hear him say it. I can't take what you think his perception of his perception, right? You know what I mean? That's why I don't want to go more down this road to talk about something that he may or may have not said or meant to say, or the persuasion of what people think he said. Langer says, are you paying to play it early then if it moves it to free-to-play game? No, the preview program is for anybody that has an Xbox. You can sign up for the preview program. You don't have to pay a monthly fee or anything. Like, anyone can sign up for it. As Microsoft stockholder, when they give me the actual number of Game Pass subscribers and how long they are during a quarterly report, that is the number I care about. That's usually why I don't play early access free-to-play games, because I know my stuff is going to get deleted, and I might support it, but I just won't play the game like Temtem, for example. Right? It happens all the time. I don't think that's a part to get upset about. If it's free-to-play on the preview program, which anybody can sign up, then I guess you could argue the fact that, well, Xbox is locking it behind. You have to buy an Xbox to get in the preview program. It's like, okay. That's the truth, Lakuta Papa. Most consumers aren't smart enough to stop subscriptions. They just keep... Right. Hence why Ubisoft wants you to pay $18 a month for Star Wars Outlaws. And for Shadows. And for whatever else comes down the pipeline. In my opinion, companies should stop charging you if you aren't active after 3 months. Well, here's the thing. They actually have a thing where you can have auto-renew turned on and off. So if a person wants it on, they can put it on. If they want it off, they can turn it off. But it is on by default to put it out there, because they know most people don't pay attention. Marcus says, well, Lono isn't stupid. So if this is a complaint, if his complaint is that they are keeping people on Game Pass with these false roadmaps, as directly quoted above from his mouth, then they clearly doesn't think every Game Pass sub user. Well, here's the thing. If someone's playing Elder Scrolls Online, and that's the only game they're paying a monthly fee for that. Or maybe they own the game and they're playing, right? If you're just playing Starfield and you'll have Game Pass, you play nothing else, then you're paying a monthly subscription just to play Starfield. Okay? But again, that game and the other 399 games that are on Game Pass are all under the umbrella. So you're not paying $20 for Starfield. You're not paying $20 for Elder Scrolls Online. You're not paying $20 for Hi-Fi Rush, right? I guess you could look at it that way if that's the only thing you play, but you're paying for a service, not the game. That's the difference. That's the difference, right? I'm paying $18 for Star Wars Outlaws on Ubisoft Plus, but I can play any of Ubisoft's games on Ubisoft Plus for $18. So if I don't like Star Wars Outlaws and I'm like, oh, you know what? While I'm here, I'm going to play another game. That happens all the time. That happens all the time, Krebsy. Right? They make millions and billions of dollars off people that don't pay attention. Of course. Yeah, of course. That's the problem. I just went through my books because of my wife's an accountant, right? So she's like, give me your tax documents and stuff for 2023. So we did the tax documents, and as I was going through, I was like, oh shit, I have a lot of different like sub things if it's editing programs or whatnot. And I was like, well, maybe I should cancel some of those because I'm not using them. And I already did because I knew I wasn't using them. So when I saw it on paper, it reminded me, and then I went to them and I went, oh, good, I already stopped it, right? Because that was last year. And I was like, oh, okay, so I'm not paying for it this year. Most people don't look at their books. They just swipe the card, put the code in, and just pay for the stuff, right? And companies bang on that. And they're not going to tell you, hey, this is a friendly reminder. We're removing $20 from your account this month. You're like, spam. I don't care about that. And then they look at their bill like, where the hell am I spending $320 a month for? They have all these subscription services. Right. They don't charge for the online. The online's included into Game Pass. Sure, Akuta Papa. And this is why I think, like, so if a game comes out in September, right, people buy Game Pass for the first time. New users. They buy it for the first time for that game. And they know why, and they know what people are playing, and they go, oh, well, this many people, they already know that. Starfield last year brought in more people on Game Pass than anything before. The most successful game that brought people to Game Pass. Okay? So they know next month another game comes out, and they're like, oh, okay, we got a million more people that just came in the Game Pass. Well, what are they playing? They know all that information. We don't know that information. They know all that information. Right? So this is why they spread them out. This is why they try not to drop first-party title games in the same month, because they want to see how they perform. How many people are coming on? How many people that left Game Pass or not playing Game Pass that have Game Pass come back to play that game on Game Pass? A general question, but wouldn't it bring Handsome Jack back just feel like a Red Dead Redemption move or a Robert Downey Jr. move? I think Red Dead Redemption. Robert Downey Jr. move. Like, didn't they do good? Let's just bring in Jack back. It's the exact same thing. Downward spiral. We haven't been the same since he was in the game. Let's bring him back. Yeah, I don't think it's leading on. Like, I'm not keeping my Game Pass. Right? And again, I'm going to speak for myself. I'm not keeping my Game Pass because of TowerBorne. I'm looking at it going, oh, cool. I have Game Pass, and that game's coming to Game Pass. Cool. Right? Couldn't you say the same exact thing, regardless of Game Pass, or if a game comes out and they're like, oh, well, we're going to have God of War come onto the console, and it doesn't come out until 3 years down the road. But they announce it 3 years ahead. Can't you go and make the same thing going, well, I bought a PlayStation 5 knowing that God of War was coming out, but I bought it early. It's the same thing. The exact same thing. First-party titles announcing for your console is the same thing about games coming onto Game Pass or whatever streaming service to get people to buy the service, to buy the game, to buy... Like, it's the same exact thing. What do you mean they don't do it for the same thing? You know for a fact, when a console comes out, they're going to make out, well, another God of War is going to come out. They announced God of War a year and a half before it comes out. The same exact thing. They're telling you it's coming. So you buy a console now or between now and then to get you into the system. It's the same thing. Back to when Ultimate was 15, I had to pay 10 regardless to play online games. And also could be bundled into the Ultimate for 5. Or they get a bunch of games, which also isn't much more, which is why I've been sub since they started the Ultimate. Of course. But it's not... See, this is my point, though, Akuda Papa. It's not about Sony or Microsoft. Everybody does it. There's no difference between what Microsoft is promoting a game coming to Game Pass and buying a system and waiting for that game to come on the system. The exact same thing. People right now are excited about the next Call of Duty that comes out next year. Not this one that comes out this year. As soon as they buy this year's, they're like, man, I can't wait for the next Call of Duty next year. That's why I own my system. It would be really hard to prove, Argus. It would be really hard to prove to say that they're doing this on purpose to get people to get Game Pass. Because there's been a shit ton of games, third party, first party, that get delayed all the time. And my thing is, if I'm really waiting for TowerBorne, or if I'm waiting for an input game here, don't buy Game Pass. If you're not playing any games right now, right? You're not playing any games right now, and the game that you're looking forward to comes on Game Pass down the road, why would I buy it now? Makes no sense to me. I have not, Dave. I have not tried it yet. What happens when COD's not popular anymore? People move on to something else that's popular. That's it. Are you talking business-wise? They make another game that's popular and they still make money off that one instead. Or they make off money, instead of making one game that's as popular as Call of Duty, they take that player base and they move it across multiple games. That's right, Dupless. Right? Game Pass is their service. Why would they entice people to not entice people to buy it? Right? Game Pass is the box, basically. Right? That is their bread and butter that they want to push. Not, hey, here's Xbox, go buy this box. Here's Game Pass, and these are all the things that are on Game Pass. All right. It's almost 1:40. I gotta eat lunch. I gotta do stuff before I pick up my son from school. I appreciate you very much for coming out and having a conversation and watching. We talked about Netflix and Game Pass this morning, the comparisons of that. We talked about Concord a little bit. We showed Star Wars and talked about Star Wars a little bit. And then we also watched a bunch of Xbox from Gamescom coming out. If you guys like what I do here, I do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern, or to 1:30, 2. And we do this, again, Monday through Thursday. If you like what I do here, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. I hope you enjoyed the hours of entertainment that you get or talk while you're waiting in the mornings, afternoons, or evenings, wherever you are in the world. Don't forget, we have a podcast tonight, Generation X Gaming, the weekly podcast that goes over a few of the top stories from the past week, and we rant along the way. That's every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on 30NSG. You can also listen to the iTunes podcast, the Spotify podcast, and anywhere else a podcast is heard. You can listen to GXG over there. You can also listen to the Daily Grind. I started putting up last week's episodes of this show up on to Spotify. This week's show is going to be a little weird because of all of this, so I might not post them for whatever reason. But join us tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. Hit that like button. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for hanging. Peace.